Hello, Fear Street fans! My name is Cameron Chaney, author of the Autumn Crow books, and welcome back to Library Macabre. Today, we have a very special compilation video combining every single Fear Street vlog that I have ever made in one single video. Over the past several years, I have been reading the Fear Street series by R.L. Stine in publication order from the very first book all the way through to about book 30 is where I think I'm at right now. I am going to keep on doing these. In fact, I have a new one that's coming out next week, so keep an eye out for that. So I hope you enjoy this mega 3.5 hour 4K video, and I will be back very, very soon for the next part in my Fear Street vlog series. People in Shadyside grew up hearing the stories about Fear Street. About people who wandered into the woods there and disappeared forever. About strange creatures that supposedly roamed the Fear Street woods. About mysterious fires that couldn't be put out and bizarre accidents that couldn't be explained. About vengeful spirits that haunted the old houses and prowled through the trees. About unsolved murders and unexplained mysteries. There are dots on my face. Hi, how you doing? My name is Cameron Chaney, author of Autumn Crow, as well as your host today on Library Macabre. It is still pretty early in the morning right now. Actually, it is currently 9:38, which I guess isn't really all that early. It is a Sunday morning, so I did sleep in just a little bit, but this is a lot earlier than I would usually film because my voice is all scratchy and my eyes are all kind of like glassy and red. By the way, I am totally using my Nickelodeon alarm clock as a tripod. You know you're a 90s kid when you use your Nickelodeon Time Blaster alarm clock as a tripod.
3, 2, 1.
So much nostalgia. All right, speaking of nostalgia, we are gonna be binging through some Fear Street books. So I have the first 3 Fear Street books here. Here's book 1, The New Girl, book 2, The Surprise Party, book 3, The Overnight, and I'm missing an original edition of the 4th book, Missing, ironically enough. So I have this brand new bind up that has the first 4 books in the series, so this does include Missing. Fear Street's one of my favorite series of all time. Like, when I grew up reading the series, I lived in a small Ohio town. I still live in a small Ohio town, so I just really connected to the setting of Shadyside, and I am so excited to just start over with the entire Fear Street series, read it from beginning to end, and I'm so excited for the movies. Can't even tell you, like, the new Netflix movies look so good. I've always wanted a Fear Street movie, and now we're finally gonna get 3. I'm gonna make some breakfast, drink some coffee, and we're gonna read some Fear Street books. I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited for Halloween. Fear Street, a narrow street that wound past the town cemetery and through the thick woods on the south edge of town, had a special meaning for everyone in Shadyside. The street was cursed, people said. The blackened shell of a burned-out mansion, Simon Fear's old mansion, stood high on the first block of Fear Street, overlooking the cemetery, casting eerie shadows that stretched to the dark, tangled woods. Terrifying howls, half human, half animal, hideous cries of pain were said to float out of the mansion late at night. Man, I am so happy to be returning to Fear Street. Over the years, I've revisited Fear Street many times. I've picked up random books in the series, but this is the first time I've read the first book in the series since I was very young. Like, I was probably 10 years old when I read this. So it's cool getting to go back all the way to the very beginning, all the way to 1989. Now, this was not my first Fear Street book that I ever read. I think my first Fear Street book was probably Halloween Party. I remember liking this, but it wasn't my favorite book in the series. So far though, I'm really enjoying this. It's very atmospheric, it's very spooky. It definitely sets up the town of Shadyside and Fear Street on a really good atmospheric note. So this starts off with a very short little prologue, and I'm just gonna read the first bit to you just to set the mood for the book. Bye, Anna. Goodbye. Look at her down there, all crumpled. Her dress all crumpled. She wouldn't like that. She was always so neat. She wouldn't like the blood. So dark and messy. You were always so perfect, Anna. You were always so bright and shiny, as if you were sparkly new every day. My diamond, Mom always said. And who was I then? Who was I while you were Little Miss Perfect? Well, you're perfect now. You're perfectly dead. Ha ha. I love it. It's so cheesy and so over the top, and a lot of the Fear Street books begin this way, with a prologue coming from the perspective of the mystery killer of the book. And of course you don't know who the killer is until the end, unless you have any kind of deductive reasoning skills, in which case you'll probably know very early on who the killer is, but it's part of the fun, you know? So after that prologue, we jump to modern day Shadyside, Ohio. We are following a boy named Cody Brooks, who is on the varsity gymnastics team at Shadyside High. And one day he sees a girl in the school, a new girl that he's never seen before. And she's very old-fashioned. She dresses in like an old-fashioned dress. Her hair is perfect. She's very pale, almost ghost-like. And every time he sees her, she'll end up disappearing around a corner, and then he can't find her again. And that's basically where I'm at right now. I'm only about 20 pages in, and I'm just having a really good time with this. So I'm gonna read a little bit more, and I will check in with you very soon. But first, I had to go make more coffee. Pumpkin spice coffee, actually, because we love Fear Street and we love coffee. Also, I just talked to my sister Taylor, and she, me, and my brother-in-law might actually go on a picnic for dinner tonight in a park, one of my favorite parks in the world. I'm really excited to take you guys there, so definitely stay tuned for that. I'll probably do a little bit of reading while I'm there too. It's gonna be a beautiful day. So excited. Did you say you're a nature bitch? I feel like I'm in the Blair Witch Project.
Really?
I'm so scared. Tell my mom and dad that I'm sorry. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that little excursion into the wild. It was a really fun time. We just had a picnic and went hiking. I really like that park. Such a beautiful place. I go there a lot to write, so I'm not gonna tell you where it's at. Shh. Just to be safe. I think I'm gonna relax for a little bit, and I'll probably read a little more before bed, but I think I'm gonna do some other stuff. Maybe do some writing or watch a show or something. So I will see you in a little bit.
Feeling like Halloween just isn't the same? Tired of your old copy of Autumn Crow falling apart after one too many readings? This Halloween season, prepare to be enchanted and terrified. From the library of best-selling author Cameron Chaney comes the brand new illustrated edition of Autumn Crow. Perfect for cozying up on those long, spooky nights. This deluxe hardcover is the ultimate companion for your Halloween festivities. Dive deeper into the eerie world of Autumn Crow than ever before with haunting illustrations that bring each chilling tale to life. Follow me in, creeps. Don't miss your chance to own this Halloween treat. Order your copy of Autumn Crow today before it disappears into the mist. Also available, Autumn Crow High Fresh Hell. Read them now, if you dare.
It is late Monday night, and I just finished reading The New Girl by R.L. Stine. General thoughts, this is a pretty much by the numbers Fear Street book. This definitely set the formula for the series. I will say this is not my favorite Fear Street book by any means. I feel like the later books are definitely a bit better than this one, but I still really enjoyed it. I think it's a solid like 3.5 star read. And I am even more excited to read The Surprise Party, which I have actually never read before. This definitely has that R.L. Stine formula of, oh, there's this party going on and somebody is not who they seem to be. I'm going to be reading this next, but for now, I'm going to go to bed because I am tired and I have work in the morning, so I will catch you tomorrow evening after work. So it is currently the next day. It is Tuesday, and I just got back from work just a little bit ago. Not gonna lie, had quite a lot of anxiety today. My anxiety has just been off the charts today. When I got back to the office from, doing the regular stuff with the bookmobile, I just kind of like, as I'm shelving books, I'm just doing kind of a meditation, bringing myself down, showing myself that I am okay, I am safe, there's no reason to get all anxious. And before that, I literally thought I was gonna have to come home and just go right to bed because I've just been so just on the fritz today. But I'm feeling a lot better. I think I've brought myself out of it. So I think I can do some reading today and not just go straight to bed. We're gonna stay in bed. I'm gonna relax and try to take it easy, but I am gonna do some reading. The book starts off in May, which we're in May right now, so it's very springy out, very sunny, and it just reminds me of the weather currently, so that was really cool. So far it's got kind of a cozy vibe to it, but we did start the story out with a prologue that is very, very similar to The New Girl. It was like hilarious how close it is to The New Girl, where somebody has just committed a murder and we're getting the scene of the murder from the perspective of the killer. And we have already had a crossover for the first book. We have already seen the character of Corey and his girlfriend slash friend that we are introduced to in the first book. So they actually do make an appearance in the first chapter. I don't know if they're going to be regular characters throughout the rest of the book or not, but it would be really interesting to see. There's the surprise party. I'm going to make some tea, get cozy, and we're going to do some reading. Hey, howdy, hi, how's it going? Cheers to you. I am back, doing a little bit better today. I woke up this morning and let me adjust the brightness on here really quick. It's a little bit better. Sometimes my phone camera likes to blow me out if I get too close to light. Anyway, I woke up this morning, immediately did a meditation slash prayer session, and I feel a whole lot better, a lot more at peace. And then I did another meditation before my writing, and I was able to write almost 2,000 words in the span of a couple hours, which is the most I've written in a long time. 2,000 words is how much R.L. Stine tries to write every single day. So it is not even 3:15 yet, and my writing is done. So I'm going to go for a little walk. It's kind of cool and cloudy out today, so it's a good day to go for a walk. I'm gonna come home, and I'm gonna do some reading. I'm gonna read Fear Street, just like this video is supposed to be about. And I'm really excited to see what's gonna go down with this surprise party that our main characters are planning for their friend. I'm guessing it's not gonna be very good. They're already getting threatening phone calls from some phantom caller saying that they should not throw the party or someone's going to get hurt. So obviously they should be rethinking it, but are they going to? Nah, they're gonna throw the party and they're gonna regret it.
Nightmare, the game hosted by a video.
I am the gatekeeper!
To win, you must stop him.
Roll the dice!
The video board game Nightmare, the gatekeeper talks to you,
Whose turn is it next?
and you must answer him.
Answer me!
Yes, my gatekeeper.
Go for it!
Nightmare, a race against time for 3 to 6 very game players.
Let's party!
All right, it is Sunday, the day before Memorial Day, and I just finished reading The Surprise Party. Finally, this one took me a little bit longer than I thought it would. And actually, this one is just a tad bit on the slow side, surprisingly. Now, I will say the writing in this one is actually a tad bit better than it was in The New Girl. You could definitely see that R.L. Stine grew a little bit as a writer between then and this book. But the plot itself is a little bit slower. In fact, we don't get to the surprise party until the last, 10 pages of the book. But I did enjoy the book overall. I think I give it about 3 stars. I guessed the killer at the very beginning, and I was kind of right. Kind of, but there was actually something else in the works that I didn't really see coming, and I thought it was pretty clever, so it did surprise me there. Now, I kind of hopped back and forth between reading that copy and this right here, which is the new Fear Street bind-up of the first 4 books. I kind of like this copy because it's oversized, it's floppy, the margins are a little bit wider, so it's not quite as tight as the other book, and the font size in this is very nice and readable. This is just a really good quality book. So if you want to check out the first 4 books in the Fear Street series, I would definitely recommend giving this one a buy because it's definitely worth it. The text here is slightly abridged, just slightly, but there were a couple of instances where I was reading the original text. Like, for instance, I was reading the original text of The New Girl, and the main character, Cody, was dittoing files in the office after school. And I was like, I wonder if they updated that to copying in this book. So I opened this up and flipped to that page, and sure enough, yeah, they changed it to copying. And I don't really like that. I kind of wish they would have just kept it, you know? I know a lot of teenagers reading this probably be like, what the hell does dittoing mean? But I think they should have kept it just to stay true to the whole late 80s, early 90s thing. But overall, it's mostly unabridged. The story is here. There's still references to VHS tapes and cassette tapes. But at the end of the day, I much prefer this cover, and I prefer to just read the original text. Next in line is book 3 of the Fear Street series, The Overnight, also published in 1989. So I have already started this, and I'm about 30 pages in. I was actually reading it last night while I was sitting on my hammock. It was really relaxing. So far, this is about a group of teenagers at Shadyside High who are getting ready for an overnight on Fear Island. Fear Island is located past the Fear Street woods in the middle of the lake. So these kids are going there for an overnight camping trip. It's gonna be a lot of fun, right? Unfortunately, the camping trip has been canceled. Their chaperone has called it off, so, oh well, looks like the camping trip isn't happening. Except it still is, because man, these teenagers are resilient and they're gonna go on this camping trip, damn it. So the camping trip is still on. They're just not gonna mention to their parents that their chaperone isn't gonna be there. So instead we have a group of unaccompanied minors who are off on their own on this island, and there is already lots of tensions between the characters. Our main character, Della, just broke up with her boyfriend recently, and her boyfriend does happen to be in the group on her camping trip, and he has already moved on with Sookie, who's kind of like the punk character in the group. Della does not like Sookie at all for many reasons, mostly because Sookie is now dating her boyfriend. Overall, I am having a blast with this book so far. It is so much fun, especially the whole camping angle. I do love a good camp story, so I will check back in with you very soon to let you know my thoughts on The Overnight.
Welcome to the world of terror. When I'm not busy embalming bodies, which isn't often, I like to relax with some good family reading. Let me introduce you to my personal library of Fangoria, the leader in horror entertainment. what a fascinatingly hideous cover of Freddy Krueger. And devilishly candid reviews of the latest horror videos. And gloriously bloody color photos from the newest Friday the 13th. They're all here in Fangoria. Can I persuade you to subscribe? Ah, let the dead bodies wait.
All right, it is the first Sunday of the month, and I have finished reading The Overnight, the third book in the Fear Street series, and I've already told you, of course, what the plot is. But basically, our main character, Della, is alone in the woods on Fear Island, and she comes across this stranger, and he's very mysterious, and she's like, hey, he's kind of handsome. So she starts kind of flirting with him, even though he's kind of weird. She's all like, hey, you're kind of hot. He's like, hey, yeah, you're kind of hot too. By the way, I'm a psycho and I'm gonna kill you. And she's like, oh no. And then that's where the book takes off. And I don't want to say anything else because I don't want to spoil it. But anyway, I actually really enjoyed this one. I like this one a lot more than the last two. It's not my favorite Fear Street book, but I would say of the first three, this is my favorite so far. There was a point where I had a lot of predictions about who the main culprit of the story is. And I was wrong. I thought it was going to go in a much different direction than it actually went. So it did surprise me. I would say that if it had gone in one of those other directions, it would have been a little more interesting. I still wound up really liking this in the end. I'd say I give it about 3.5 stars. So the fourth book in the Fear Street series is called Missing, and I actually don't own an original copy. I have just this reprint edition that was released pretty recently. So I am, I don't know, about 50 pages in so far. Basically, there are these two new kids who have just moved onto Fear Street, and one night their parents don't come home, so they're like, they're probably just working late. We're gonna throw a party.
I just want a party.
So they do. And then the next day, their parents still haven't come home. So they start to look for their parents. So far, this one is interesting. I will say it is a little bit on the slow side, but overall it is an interesting take on a Fear Street story. So I'm excited to see what exactly happened. I'm kind of like, I'm just gonna make a prediction. I'm not gonna say if this is true or not because I don't want to spoil it, but I'm thinking there's some cult stuff tied into this one. It just feels like that. I'm not sure yet, we'll see. It seems a little culty to me. Anyway, I'm gonna go make some tea, then I'm gonna sit out on my patio and read Missing. Probably can't really see me too well because it's pretty dark, but I'm going on a walk around the neighborhood, and there's this garage right behind me. You can probably see it just a little bit, and I have a creepy story to tell you. So Halloween last year, 2020, I was out for a walk. It was at 11:30, and I was kind of like sad, and I was wanting to, I guess, say goodbye to Halloween. So I'm walking around my neighborhood, it's a full moon, and I'm walking by that garage. And my mind isn't really on spooky stuff. Like I said, I'm sad. I hate that Halloween is over. When out of the corner of my eye, once I reach that garage, I see something move. And I saw it pretty clearly. It was this very tall shape. And seriously, like, it looked like a man who was flattened, like a crushed man. And he stumbled toward me, and I turned around really fast, and nothing was there. And I stood there for a moment, kind of like in shock. And then I took off running down this road all the way home. It scared me to death, guys. It was like the most Fear Street moment I have ever had, which is why I'm sharing it in this vlog. So yeah, I can't believe I just walked by that place at night. It's the first time I've done that, but I kind of wanted to do it for the vlog, so there you go. Now I'm gonna go home because I'm kind of creeped out, and I'm gonna get in the shower, and then I'm gonna read some more Fear Street, and I will give you an update here in a minute. All right, so I am back home from my little spooky walk. I took a shower and I wanted to update you on my Fear Street reading progress. So the other day when I was laying out on the hammock, that was a Sunday, beautiful day by the way, perfect weather. It was super nice and warm, but not too humid. There was a nice little breeze. I was just living my best life, reading Fear Street books on the hammock. It was wonderful. So I finished Missing, and I'm not gonna tell you, like I said, not gonna tell you if my guess was right about the whole cult angle. You'll just have to read the book, see if I was right or wrong. But overall, I really liked the book. It was, I would say, not as well written as the previous entries. It felt a little rushed. I mean, the other Fear Street books aren't exactly well written, but this one just felt like R.L. Stine had kind of slapped it together pretty quickly. The last part of the book was a bit better, but the first part was pretty sloppy and choppy. But was there any sloppy chopping in the book? No, there wasn't. It was a relatively low body count, which was disappointing to say the least. Overall, I would give the book like 3 stars, so it's kind of on par with The New Girl and The Surprise Party. The Overnight, I would say I rated about 4 stars overall. I thought that was a really solid book. However, the 5th book in the series is called The Wrong Number, and I am already nearing the end of this book, and I'm loving it. Like, this is so far the best Fear Street book, and I'm surprised that I haven't actually read this one before. So obviously the book's from 1990. So we have our main character. She just received her very own landline. Remember those? And her friend comes over one night. Friend pressures her into making some prank phone calls. Stuff goes down. They witness a murder. They get tied up in it. Gives me some anxiety because it is super tense, and I would just really not want to see myself in a situation like this. Overall, I'm just loving it so far. It's so good, and I can't wait to finish it up. So I'm going to probably finish it up tonight before bed if I don't fall asleep first. If I do fall asleep, then I'll just finish it up tomorrow, and I will let you know what I think. So see you then.
Are we alone? Has there been a government cover-up? To find out, we invite you now to reach the outer limits of your imagination by communicating across the ozone into the bottomless infinity of space. Perhaps as you hear this, you're a doubter, or maybe just undecided. Whichever is the case, to become a believer, just call the number on your screen and hear some of the most incredible stories imaginable from people who have lived them, but were afraid to say anything until now. Who knows what form they may take when they visit our planet? How well do you know the person sitting next to you at this very moment? Oh, and one more thing. If you've had a close encounter with an extraterrestrial being, call and let us hear your story. If we use it, you could win $500. Now that's a prize that's really out of this world.
Hey creeps, it is a spooky Friday afternoon. It is rainy and cloudy and dreary, and I've heard a lot of thunder today. It's the first time I've heard thunder so far this year, so that's been really cool. Needless to say, it is a great day for some tea and Fear Street. So right now I am drinking some peach apricot green tea. This is from Evil Tea Company. I got this in the latest Nightworms package, and it is delicious. I can definitely taste both the peach and the apricot. It is so good, and green tea is my favorite kind of tea, mostly because of the health benefits. So, like I said, it is Friday, and that means that the Fear Street trailer was released a couple of days ago. That was the complete full Fear Street trailer, and wow. I am very excited, and I actually posted a reaction video, so I'm gonna post that up there in the card symbol so you can go and check it out. I have my full reaction to the trailer as well as my thoughts overall, and I think it's gonna be really good. I'm really pumped for it. And in fact, I've watched it several more times since then, and some of the things that I was a little unsure about before, they're starting to grow on me, and I decided, you know what, I'm all in, and I can't wait to see what they come up with. But I also finished The Wrong Number, and of the first 5 Fear Street books, The Wrong Number is my favorite. I loved it, and I don't think it's as good as like Silent Night, but like I said, of the first 5 Fear Street books, it is solid. It is tight. I like the characters. I like the pacing. I also love that we're still having a bunch of crossover characters. We're still having the characters from the very first book popping up here and there throughout the wrong number. It's just so fun to see those crossovers and those Easter eggs. That's what makes reading these books in publication order so exciting. So I gave that one 4.5 out of 5 stars, and the next book is The Sleepwalker. So I am really excited to read this. I am already about, I'm 15 pages in. I've read 2 chapters, and I'm loving this so far. It opens up right off the bat with our main character sleepwalking through Shadyside, and it's all foggy. Of course, it's the middle of the night. People are driving by, but they don't notice this ghost-like figure sleepwalking through the streets. It totally matches the vibe of the front cover. It is so moody. I love it. So after that, we jump back 3 weeks, and we are following our main character, whose name is Myra Barnes, and she is about to start her very first summer job, and she's basically going to be just looking after this old woman who lives on Fear Street. The old woman's name is Mrs. Kotler. She just seems like a sweet old woman. She has a whole bunch of knickknacks, and basically Myra just has to dust this lady's stuff and read her books, and that's about it. So it's a pretty easy job, but I'm guessing there's something not quite right with this old woman. So I'm excited to dig in even more. I'm going to do that right now. All right, it is Saturday, June 12th, and I just got a package in the mail. So with the Fear Street movies coming out, my main hope is that we're gonna get more and more Fear Street merchandise. And a friend of mine actually texted me, was like, hey Cam, look, there's a Fear Street t-shirt, and I had to order it right away. So I thought I would unbox it for you guys. So this is from Sadist Art Designs. And I actually ordered 2 shirts from them. And the first one here is, of course, Fear Street. And it says, I was raised on Fear Street. I just love it. So it's just a simple black t-shirt. Pretty simple, but I'm just glad to have a Fear Street t-shirt finally to add to all my Goosebumps t-shirts. And of course, to go with that, I also had to get the Christopher Pike shirt. So this says, I'd rather be reading Christopher Pike. I can't believe I actually live in a world now where I have Fear Street and Christopher Pike t-shirts. This is just unreal. All right, I'm gonna try on the Fear Street shirt. Let's see what it looks like. All right, so it fits really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off since I know that it fits well. Look at that. That is so good. The fabric's really, really nice as well. Very soft. It fits really well around my arms. I hate when t-shirts like do that triangle thing where they pop out. It just annoys me. But this actually fits well around my arms. Makes me look like I have biceps when I really don't. So yeah, this looks really cool. I want to try on the Christopher Pike shirt too. All right, so yeah, very, very nice. It fits just like the Fear Street shirt, and it's very soft, and it just looks so good. Look at that. As for my reading, I am still, of course, reading The Sleepwalker. I read a little bit more yesterday. I'm about 40 pages in. I had a whole bunch of editing to do yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to read too much of this. But so far, I'm loving this. We're still following our main character. She's still working with this old woman as a caregiver. And it's becoming pretty clear that this old woman might actually be a witch. The atmosphere here is on point. It's also very cozy, and I'm just loving this. So I'm gonna read a whole bunch more today. It's a Saturday, so I'm gonna try to enjoy myself today. Anyway, I will check back with you guys in a bit. This is probably my new favorite place to read. So cozy. Mayra had to walk past the Fear Street Cemetery to get to the bus stop on Park Drive. 2 very blonde kids, a boy of 8 or 9 and a girl maybe a few years older, were laughing and chasing each other in a wild game of tag just beyond the cemetery wall. Why are they playing in there? Mayra thought. She had a sudden impulse to yell to them, to tell them to go play somewhere else, Hadn't they heard the awful stories about the Fear Street Cemetery? When she was a little girl, a boy from down the block had given her bad dreams for weeks by telling her the story of why the gravestones were all crooked. It was because the dead people underneath were pushing up with their shoulders, pushing up every night, trying to push the gravestones away so they could climb out. To this day, crooked gravestones in the cemetery gave Mayra the shudders. She started to call out to the two kids, but they were gone. Their high-pitched laughter still rang in her ears, but they were nowhere to be seen. I just finished reading The Sleepwalker, which is the 6th book in the Fear Street series, and I really enjoyed this one. I don't want to tell you guys any more about the plot because I don't want to spoil anything, but this was a lot of fun. I think the atmosphere in this one reminded me a lot of the first Fear Street book, The New Girl. Most of the time, I would say, if you live on Fear Street, do not own a cat, because cats don't make it very long on Fear Street, I'm sad to say. But there is a cat in The Sleepwalker that's honestly really badass. So if you like cats as much as I do, I think you'll really like this one. This also had a really good twist at the end, and I also really liked Mayra, the main character. Now, Fear Street characters, they tend to be pretty shallow. There's not a whole lot of depth there. But honestly, Stine's female characters in the Fear Street books, they're not bad. I've noticed that these are girls that really get to the bottom of things, and I feel like girls at the time reading these books could really look up to these characters. I mean, even me, as a 28-year-old man reading these books, I'm like, yeah, I could look up to this. So there's The Sleepwalker. I think I'll give this 4 stars. And the next book in the series is book number 7, and it is called Haunted. And the book after this is called Halloween Party, which is one of my favorite Fear Street books, and I'm really excited to reread that and revisit it after all of these years. But for now, we're gonna read Haunted next, and I'm pretty pumped.
Columbia Pictures presents A Story of First Love.
You don't know me, Tanya.
But I want to.
As told by Stephen King. Now,
Somebody help me, please!
from the modern master of horror comes an all-new work of terror written just for the screen. Stephen King's Sleepwalkers, directed by Mick Garris, rated R, at theaters Friday.
Hey creeps. All right, so I just got a package in the mail. This is from World of Books USA, and there is a Fear Street book in here that I've been very excited about. It's actually a UK Fear Street edition, and I thought I would open it up on camera for you guys. And there's also a Christopher Pike UK edition, which I'm really excited about. All right, so you never know with World of Books USA what you're gonna get. I'm hoping the condition is really nice on these. This isn't in the best condition. It's not as good as I was hoping. But here we go. This is Halloween Party. I just love this cover. Look at that cover art. So cool. I love the US edition too, but man, that is an awesome cover. Never had a UK edition before. These are usually pretty rare, but I got a good deal on this. Oh, hello. All right. So this is awesome. When I ordered Slumber Party by Christopher Pike, the UK edition, I ordered this cover. And I really like that cover. But there is another cover that I like even more, and that is the one that's featured in Paperbacks from Hell by Grady Hendrix. And it's got like this close-up of a snowman on fire, and he's got like tears of blood coming out of his eyes. I wasn't able to find that copy anywhere, so I went ahead and settled on the cover that I just showed you. I still like that edition, and I really wanted that cover too. But look at the one I was sent. I was sent the one with the burning snowman. That is so cool. I totally thought I was going to be getting that other copy, but I'm glad I got this one because I like this cover even more. So yeah, got both of those. Very nice. I'm going to be reading Halloween Party next, so this is the edition I'm going to be reading. Okay, I am about halfway through Haunted, and in this book we are following a girl named Melissa, and she lives on Fear Street, of course. Who would live on Fear Street? But she does. And right now there is a prowler on the loose breaking into homes on Fear Street, and this has Melissa all paranoid. And now she is seeing a boy about her age appearing in her bedroom, and at first she thinks it's the prowler, but now she's not too sure. She's thinking he may be a ghost. And so far, I think this is the most paranormal, supernatural story that the Fear Street series has. This is like the introduction of some of the paranormal elements. We definitely had some paranormal elements in the Sleepwalker, but those were a little more subtle. It could be like, is it really supernatural? Is it not? This is a little more outright supernatural. I also really like that Della and Pete from the Overnight make an appearance in this book. That was really cool to see. I'm loving the, interconnected crossover characters. It's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite things about reading the series in order from the beginning is that you notice those crossovers a whole lot more than I did when I was a kid reading the books out of order. Like I said, about halfway through, I'm gonna go for a walk and then I'm gonna come back and hopefully I can finish this tonight. If not, I'll try to finish it tomorrow morning. Hey creeps, good morning. It is Tuesday morning. Right now it is 7:43. Just woke up a little bit ago and yeah, I'm ready to get on with the day. I'm super tired. Let's do this. I did a little more reading last night. I'm still just a little more than halfway through. I'm hoping I can finish this today. I should be able to. But first I'm gonna make my bed. I'm going to get some cereal, make some tea. I also want to meditate, and then I need to do some writing. I have a lot of writing I need to do, and then I need to film videos in the afternoon. So it's gonna be a while before I can get to the book, but I'll get to it later this evening. Now it's time for the most important part of the day, the sacred choosing of the mug. So today I think I'm gonna go with my Halloween mug right here because I don't know about you guys, but I am in the Halloween spirit. I need it here, now. And today I am drinking, once again, the Evil Tea Company's Sacred Grove Peach and Apricot. This stuff is so good. Now, one thing I am liking about these early Fear Street books is that absent is R.L. Stine's cheap cliffhanger chapter endings. Now, R.L. Stine, of course, is most known for his cheap chapter cliffhanger endings. But in his earlier Fear Street books, there really aren't any. All of the chapter endings are pretty legit. I love R.L. Stine, and those endings are okay every once in a while, but once you've read a bunch of his books back to back and you've seen so many of those chapter endings, then it gets a little bit old. But I'm liking that that's not really the case with these early Fear Street books. Paul, are you here? Where did the ghost go when he wasn't there? Did he just fade into nothingness? Or was he always around, always watching her? Did he watch her undress? The idea was sort of exciting? Well, that paragraph didn't go where I thought it would. The shirt's a joke. I'm still enjoying my Fear Street binge. I just didn't really like this one as much as the first 5, 6, this is book 7, the first 6 books in the series. And I've also read several other Fear Street books in the series that come much later. This, I would say, is probably my least favorite Fear Street book. I'm sad to say, because I was actually really excited to read this, and I've been wanting to read this since I was a kid, and I just never got around to it. It's not that it's a bad book. It's still fun. Like I said, it's still a Fear Street book. It's still a good time. Like, if I get to sit outside and read this on a nice summer day while drinking some tea, that's a pretty good life, right? I can't complain. But it is a bit slow, and I gotta say, it is really, really corny and cheesy at the end. And there's a certain character that they try to kind of redeem, and I just wasn't really having it. I don't know. This one, it didn't really do it for me. I would say I give this about 2.5 stars, so it's not the best. But I'm really, really excited for this next book, book 8 in the series, and that is Halloween Party. Now, I have read this one. I read this, I would say, when I was like 13, 14 years old. So it's been a good, I don't know, 15 years since I've read this. But I'm really excited to revisit this, and I hope it lives up to how much I liked it before, because I remember really enjoying this. And I am going to be reading my UK edition that I just ordered, because this one, it's in decent condition, but I would rather read this one than take a risk of damaging my really nice first edition copy. This, by the way, is Bob. At least that's what his name used to be.
Just begun. Night of the Demons. Rated R.
All right, it is a couple days later, and I just finished reading Halloween Party, and I would describe this as being exactly what the Surprise Party, book 2 of the Fear Street series, should have been. The Surprise Party doesn't get to the Surprise Party until like the last 10 pages of the book. This gets right into business. I would say like 95% of this book takes place at the Halloween party, which is what you want, right? So this is basically about a group of kids who have very little in common for the most part, who all receive invitations for this Halloween party at Cameron Mansion on Fear Street. And I thought that was really funny, because that's me. I am Cameron Mansion. It's this big, giant Gothic house with a cemetery in the front yard. If I were a mansion, this would be me. Honestly, I don't know why I'm not. Maybe in the next life I will be. So basically, it's this small group of kids, and they don't know why they've been invited to this party, but they're going to find out because somebody is cooking something up for them. And overall, I like this just about as much as I did when I was 13 when I read this. I say just about because it is a little bit slower than I remember it being, especially like this little middle section of the book. For the most part, it's pretty well paced, but there was a brief moment in the middle where I'm like, yeah, this is getting kind of slow. But overall, it's a fun book. If you haven't read Fear Street before, I would recommend maybe starting with Silent Night, but this would be a really good one to read after that. And then, of course, The Wrong Number, because that book was really good too. I also really liked The Sleepwalker. That was pretty good. Anyway, the next book in the series is book number 9, and that is The Stepsister. I've never read this, but I'm really excited to. I am reading this right now. I am a little more than halfway through. So this one so far is about this girl named Emily, and she is going to have to share her room with her new stepsister, who, when around adults, acts like this perfect, glowing angel, but when the adults aren't around, she's just plain mean. And now some very sinister, threatening things are starting to happen around the house, and Emily is beginning to wonder if her new stepsister, Jessie, has something to do with it. For one, I just love this cover art. I think it's really spooky how her eyes are kind of glowing. I don't know if this has like a witchy kind of angle or anything like that, though the cover definitely gives me that vibe. So far, this just feels more like a straight up thriller, and it really reminds me of Summer of Fear by Lois Duncan, which is another one of my favorite young adult horror books. Summer of Fear came way before this book, and R.L. Stine may have had a little bit of an inspiration from that book, but the tone of this book is by far a lot different than Summer of Fear. So I don't think R.L. Stine copied Lois Duncan. He may have grabbed a little bit of inspiration from her book, but it's a very different beast overall. I'm enjoying it though. I'm really liking this, so I will check back with you really soon. I'm gonna go read some of this book right now.
Mr. Dickens, file those test papers.
Schoolboy pranks.
They're filed.
And schoolboy dreams can become.
Can't believe it.
A school teacher's nightmare.
We're all in this together.
The lessons have just begun. Hell High, rated R.
Fear Street. Some of her friends teased her about living on this street that held so many dark legends for the town of Shadyside. Emily had lived on Fear Street most of her life since she was 7 or 8 and hadn't witnessed any of the horrors her friends teased her about. Sure, she had sometimes heard strange moans and howls coming from the woods late at night, but the Fear Street Cemetery never held any particular horror for her, and she didn't really believe all the Fear Street stories about unsolved murders and mysterious disappearances, stories that sometimes even made it into the Shadyside newspaper. I love those little additions about Fear Street in these books. They're very moody, and it just really sets the tone. So, I read a book. I finished it, and it was really good. I really enjoyed this one. I will say the cover's a bit misleading because, as you can see, like, she's got the glowing eyes, and when I was a kid and I saw this cover, I always thought, like, did she discover her spell book? Is she, like, reading from her spell book or something? That's a little misleading. There's no witchcraft in this. This is a straight thriller, like the majority of Fear Street books. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Is it predictable? Yes. If I wanted something unpredictable, I would read something else. But the thing about Fear Street is that they're so familiar and cozy, and that's what I expect and want from a Fear Street book. I really liked it. It was fun. It had some really good passages in it, and while I did see what was coming, I still liked where it went. And it actually has a really good climax that takes place in a cemetery, which was awesome. I would say I give this one 4 out of 5 stars, so it's definitely one of the better Fear Street books, and I would recommend this. So now I am on to book 10 in the Fear Street series. Book 10. I'm flying through these. So next up we have Ski Weekend, and this is another one that I have not read before, but a lot of people who are fans of Fear Street say this is one of their favorites, and I really enjoy that cover. I love their sweaters. I love everything about this cover. It is awesome. And this definitely reminds me of Slumber Party by Christopher Pike, where it's about a group of teenagers going to a ski lodge and they're snowed in and a lot of craziness ensues. Of course, it is the middle of the summer, but that's fine. I'm okay with reading a snowy isolation book. So yeah, I'm gonna start reading this next. Hey creeps, so it is Sunday, June 27th, and still reading Ski Weekend. I'm just started it, and I haven't had much of a chance to really read, and I've not been very good at vlogging so far this vlog, so sorry about that. Things have just been very, very busy. I am enjoying this. I'm gonna be reading this a lot more today in the car because it's my brother-in-law's birthday, and we are gonna go to a zoo and a water park to celebrate. So I'll have plenty of time to read in the car. So I'm gonna be reading Ski Weekend on the way to a water park. So yeah, that worked out. Hey guys, so it is the next day. It is Monday. It was a really great day yesterday. A lot of fun. The water park was crammed packed with people. I haven't been around that many people since before the pandemic. I am fully vaccinated, so I wasn't worried really, but it was just weird being around that many people and it felt a little overwhelming at times. Enough about the zoo and the water park. This is a Fear Street reading vlog. I realized that has nothing to do with Fear Street. I just thought it would be a little fun field trip, I guess. But anyway, I did get some time to read in the car. I will say that there was music playing in the car, and I usually do read with music or ambiance, but not with lyrics. If a song has lyrics in it, it's very hard for me to focus. So I got some reading done. I'm about 60 pages in, but it was really hard to like focus on it the whole time. But I'm loving this so far. This is really good. So we have these 4 teenagers who, at the beginning of the book, they're stuck in the car. They're driving home from this ski trip that they've been on. They all live in Shadyside, except for this character right here. His name is Red, and he's actually a stranger. He's just kind of like hitching a ride with these 3 friends. So we don't really know much about him, and neither do the characters. He's just kind of there. So anyway, they're trying to make it home to Shadyside through this blizzard. The car stalls. They don't know what to do. Finally, they find a ski lodge up in like the hills, and there's this couple that lives at the cabin. So they take these kids in, and you quickly start to discover these people are a bit strange. There's something very weird going on here, and it could be that maybe these people don't actually live at this cabin. You just feel like something's wrong, something's off. It almost reminds me of, I'm thinking of Ending Things, where the characters arrive to the parents' house and you just realize that something's really off. That's kind of what this whole book feels like, except I don't feel like it's going to be quite as existential. Very good though. I am really, really liking this. Yeah, it's Monday, so I have a lot of work to do. I'm going to get some lunch and then get back to work. So I will catch you guys in a little bit. Hey, so I just finished filming that last clip and I found out that the new Fear Street trailer is out. So this apparently is a trailer just for the first Fear Street movie in the trilogy. So this is just for 1994. I wasn't sure if they were going to do this because they released, of course, the teaser trailer for the trilogy. They released the trailer for the full trilogy, and now it looks like they're going to be releasing individual trailers for each movie. I'm a little on the fence about watching this because I'm worried it's just going to give away too much at this point, but I'm too excited. So we're going to watch it, and I'm going to do it here on camera, here in the vlog for you. Here we go. I'm a little nervous. I hope this looks good. Let's go.
What the hell? This is exactly why you have no friends. Look, some guy killed a bunch of people at the mall last night. Holy shit. Another Shadyside tragedy. Fits the narrative, right? Sarah, there's that. Christ, not you two. There's no angry dead witch. The only thing that made him go crazy is this town. The dude was wearing a Halloween skull mask. How is that not fun? I think there's someone in the woods. We're together for one night, and dead people are trying to kill us. Maybe we are doomed.
So spicy.
She was so sexy, but so crazy. Normal bitches don't bleed black blood. You can't stop it.
Wow. Okay. I can't wait. I am so excited. We only have a few more days, actually just 4 more days. I'm going to be watching it Friday night after work. I love that we get to see just like the characters interacting in the hallways of Shadyside. The dialogue definitely felt pretty Fear Street. Now, I will say, of course, there's no swearing in the Fear Street books. In fact, this is rated R for strong bloody violence, which the books did have bloody violence, but they weren't too over the top. You know, they were toned down. It definitely looks like this is going to have a lot more. There's drug content in this, which was very rare in the Fear Street books.
Should I smoke? No. Take drugs?
Definitely no.
Language, which was also very rare in the books, and some sexual content. Really, the only sexual content in the books was like a few steamy makeout sessions, which it seems like this definitely has one of those. I could tell from the trailer. I know like the second movie is rated R for, I think there's even nudity in it, which is really surprising to me to think that there would be nudity in a Fear Street movie, but anyway, we'll see about that. But overall, I'm just like really, really excited. And I think this looks really good. I like the interactions between the characters. It seems very Fear Street because the characters at Shady Side, of course, are very snarky and they like to bust each other's chops and kind of poke fun at each other and tease each other. The whole thing in the mall with Maya Hawke being chased around in the mall, and there was like that glow in the dark room with all the Halloween masks. That looks so cool. I can't wait for that whole scene. I'm kind of hoping that that scene opens up the movie, so it's kind of like our Drew Barrymore Scream kind of intro. That would be really cool to see. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, what you thought of the trailer. Of course, by the time you see this, the movie's gonna be out, so let me know what you think of the movie. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in a little bit, and we will read more Fear Street books leading up to the first movie in the trilogy. Can't wait. Hey creeps, it is a spooky Wednesday afternoon. It's very rainy and stormy, and it's supposed to be raining off and on all day. We've had a lot of lightning and stuff too, so totally spooky, totally my vibe. It is also the last day before I start work full-time. I recently announced that I was going to be starting on the bookmobile full-time. I've been part-time for the past 5 years, so this is going to be the first time I've had a full-time job in like 6 years. It's been a while. I've had other gigs since then, just kind of going along with my part-time job, and then of course YouTube and writing. So this will be the first time I've like actually had a steady full-time job in 6 years. The last few days I have been just struggling to really get as many videos done as I possibly can, to try to get as many videos scheduled out, so that way on weekends I won't feel quite as stressed to make videos. And I've just been working so much that I've not had very much time to read. So I'm still on ski weekend, and I'm a little more than halfway through, and I'm hoping today that I can just sit and breathe and relax for a little bit and hopefully get this done today. The next book in the series is book number 11, and that is called The Fire Game. It's kind of a boring cover in my opinion, and I've looked at the reviews on Goodreads, and most people say this one's pretty boring, so I'm not necessarily looking forward to this one, but that's okay, because I think what I'm gonna do is skip ahead a little bit. I know I said I'm going to try to read all of the books in order of publication date, but I'm gonna be skipping ahead and kind of going backwards in time at the same time. So here we have the Fear Street Saga. I've actually read all 3 books in the Fear Street Saga trilogy, so this will be a reread for me, but I really want to reread this and kind of revamp myself when it comes to the history of Shady Side, because it's been a long time. I read this back when I was like 10 years old. I got this from Borders Books. So it's been a long time since I've read this and the rest of the trilogy. So I would really like to kind of refamiliarize myself with the history before the 1966 movie comes out. And then once I finish the Fear Street Saga, I will jump back and go to The Fire Game. That, where I will jump forward a couple of books and read Lights Out, which is supposed to be what the second Fear Street movie is based on. I'd really like to read that before I see part 2 of the trilogy, the movie trilogy. There's an update for you guys. I just wanted to let you know I'm gonna try to finish this book today and just relax. I've got my pumpkin candle burning, I've got my blanket, I've got my beverage. So I'm hoping for a relaxing day today. So yeah, let's try this out. Let's read. Okay, I just finished reading Ski Weekend, book 10 in the Fear Street series by R.L. Stine, and I loved this. This was awesome. While I wouldn't say this is a good place to start if you're new to the Fear Street series, because this doesn't actually take place in Shady Side. Fear Street is only very briefly mentioned, just one time. So I would still recommend starting with a book like, I don't know, Silent Night or The Wrong Number, something like that, something that takes place in Shadyside. But this was a really good little vacation book, you know, taking a vacation from Fear Street. It's very twisty and turny, and our main character, Ariel, is very good. I really liked reading about her. And the book is actually told in first person from her perspective, which I thought was a nice change. Most of the books are told in third person, past tense, but this is one that's actually told in first person. I will definitely be rereading this one in the future, especially in the winter time. I think this would be a really good wintertime read. So there's Ski Weekend, and I am super pumped to get into Fear Street Saga, book number 1, The Betrayal. I hope this lives up to what I remember it being. And from what I hear from other fans who have revisited the books, everybody really loves the Fear Street Saga. Hey creeps, it is Thursday, July 1st. We are already in July. What the hell? I have been reading the Fear Street Saga, book number 1, The Betrayal. I only have about 30 pages left. I read the majority of this today. It is just as riveting as it was when I read it when I was a kid. And I forgot just how heart-wrenching and brutal and just depressing the origins of Shadyside is. It is crazy. The book starts off with the Fear Mansion in 1900, and it is burning to the ground. So that's kind of like where everything ends, and then we jump back in time to the 1600s, and we are following the Good family, and the 2 women in the Good family have just been accused of being witches and are about to be burned at the stake. The Fear family is the reason why these 2 women were even accused in the first place, and they are cursed for it. So next you're following the Fear family through the decades as they are being subjected to this curse. It's pretty great, man. I love these books so much, and I'm excited to revisit the other 2 books. I am almost done with this. I'm thinking I'll finish it tonight before bed. Anyway, I am going to get in bed, do some reading, and then get some sleep because I'm gonna need it. Got work tomorrow. You know, adult stuff. I have to go to work, but look. Look! There it is. So close, yet still so far away. I want to watch it, but I have to go. So we'll watch it tonight. See ya. All right, so I have my copy of Betrayal, which is actually just the Fear Street Saga bind up, and I am on my break. So I was like, you know what? I got 15 minutes. Let's see how much I can read. So right now, I am still on The Betrayal, which is the first book. I started to read it last night after I talked to you guys, and I was immediately like, no, I need to go to bed right now. I have to sleep. So I read like 2 pages, and that was it. So right now, I'm on page 137, which is chapter 19, which means I have literally like 30 pages left of the first book. So I'll see how much I can read. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish it in 15 minutes, but I'll definitely get quite a bit read in that time. So let's go. All right, I read about 20 pages, and man, all the secrets are starting to come out, and it's like a soap opera, but like a period soap opera with witches and secrets and dark magic, and it's so good, and it really reminds me of my family, except without like the witch burning, maybe like, I don't know, metaphorical witch burning, but you know, yeah, I find it a bit relatable in some ways.
Atmosphere, you opened the gate. You put in the tape. Your friends became harbingers. You're changing too. You have 1 hour to stop the gatekeeper. Atmosphere, the video board game that puts you at each other's throat. Atmosphere, the sound, the nightmare, the game. Atmosphere.
Hey guys, all right, so just got home. I already have my Fear Street shirt on. I know I've worn this shirt like 3 times in this vlog so far, but it's my Fear Street vlog and it's Fear Street week, so I gotta wear the shirt. Anyway, just got home from work, And I was actually going to wait to watch the movie because my sister and her husband were off at the lake, and I wanted to wait for them to get back so that way we could watch it all together. But they got home as soon as I did. So we're going to get together and watch it together right now. I can't believe it's finally here. Years later, in all of this time, for like since I was a kid, they've talked about doing a Fear Street movie. Here it is. It's finally happening. So excited. Anyway, catch you guys in a little bit. I just finished watching it, and I'm pleased to say that I really, really liked it. I was so worried. I was excited, but very nervous at the same time. And I'm pleased to say that I actually really love this movie. Was it Fear Street? Yes, in a lot of ways, and no in some ways. For one, Fear Street itself isn't really mentioned, like, at all. You don't really get any of the backstory of the street itself, Fear Street. And if you've like read the Fear Street sagas and you know how that street came to be and why it's cursed, yeah, we get a lot of Shadyside stuff, a lot about Shadyside High, but there's no references to Fear Street. It's more like, oh, bad stuff happens in Shadyside all the time. But really in the books, yeah, bad stuff happens at Shadyside High, bad stuff happens in Shadyside in general, but a lot of the legends and the really bad stuff happens on Fear Street. That's what it's notorious for. So I was a little bit kind of disappointed that we didn't get any references to Fear Street, or somebody being like, oh, they live on Fear Street, you know, their house is probably haunted, or their sister is probably a maniac, because that's what happens, you know. But we didn't really get that. So that was a little bit disappointing. The whole vibe of the high school and everything, it felt very much like Shadyside. And also you have the whole, like, the rich kids and the poor kids. That was always a big plot point of the Fear Street books. Now in the movies, instead of having it be like the rich kids from one side of Shadyside and the lower class kids from the other side, you had two totally different schools. So there's the rich school, and then Shadyside is the lower class, the poorer school. So they kind of split it up, which is fine. I'm okay with that. But the interactions with the kids and the characters, they definitely felt like Fear Street characters. I mean, they're definitely a lot more vulgar, but they feel like Fear Street characters, especially the main character. She's very, very determined and very kind of hard, and that's how most of the female characters in Fear Street books are. They're go-getters, and they don't take shit from people. They get to the bottom of stuff. Even if they have a weak moment where they're kind of moping, they get back on their feet pretty quick, and they're like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna take this. And that's how all of the characters are in the new Fear Street movie. So I really enjoyed it. It's a really well-made movie. The cinematography is fantastic. The acting is great. The visual effects are really good. I was worried from the trailer that maybe there would be too much CGI, but there isn't. There's just a few moments of CGI, and the moments of CGI are actually really good. They're not noticeable. They're not glaring. The visual effects when it comes to the gore, wow. There were a couple of death scenes in this that made me go, what the? It was insane. And there's a couple of scenes toward the end of the movie, which I'm sure if you've seen it, you know what those are. I was blown, you know, I could not believe that they actually went there. That was really cool. And I love the ending. It definitely leaves it perfectly open for the next movie in the trilogy. So I'm very excited. I'm very, very pumped. Now, the only thing I'm really, really nervous about is the 1966 movie. If you've read the saga, if you know the backstory of Fear Street, it's pretty obvious that they're going to be making a lot of changes and probably condensing the saga a lot, which I understand, but I'm hoping to see a lot of the things that I love about this book. I want to see all of the betrayal and the wrongly accused witches and the curse that is put upon the Fear family that stretches on for generations and generations. It's a really epic story. It's really sad, and I just want to see it portrayed. You know, this is a really cool story, and I hope they do it well. And I did have a couple of issues when it comes to like the time frame of the movies, like the kid in it singing the White Zombie song. That song is from 1995. The movie takes place in 1994, so that was a little error. And also the kid is using AOL Chat, which didn't come about until 1997, so he couldn't have been using it in 1994. But I've always felt like Fear Street and Shadyside kind of exist in their own atmosphere. I know that those were errors. I know that those were errors, but I will forgive them and think of it more as like, oh, well, their sense of time in Shadyside is probably a little different than ours. So I know that's not it, but that's how I'm going to choose to think about it.
Be careful what you wish for. You might get it.
Hello, kiddies.
Get sweet revenge with every episode of Tales from the Crypt. Now an exclusive home video collection from Time Life. Each tape contains 3 original, uncut, and unedited Tales from the Crypt, now available on video for the first time. Call the toll-free number on your screen right now. For just $9.99, you'll receive your first Tales from the Crypt triple feature. Additional Tales from the Crypt will come to you monthly, each with a new trio of terror.
The morgue, the merrier.
Call and order Tales from the Crypt right now before it's too late.
Boy, that was good.
To order your Tales from the Crypt, Volume 1, call 1-800-455-8877. That's 1-800-455-8877. Or send $9.99 plus $3.49 shipping and handling to Tales from the Crypt, Department 1, Richmond, Virginia, 23280.
Boo. Hey. Hi. So, last night, I finished reading Fear Street Saga, book number 1, The Betrayal. Loved it. I don't have to say much more about it, other than I love it. It's just as good as I remember it being. It's just a fantastic, riveting, fun read. And also very sad and very depressing at the same time. But that's, that's fun to me as a horror lover. So yeah, I recommend it. It's a fantastic read, and I am so excited to get on to the second book in the series, in the trilogy called The Secrets. Alright, so I got back from the firework display just a little bit ago. Then we sat out on the porch and just sat by the fire, so it was nice. I ate a cheeseburger, I had cheese curds, I had fried Oreos. I'm done. Tomorrow's a detox day. But enough about all that. Fear Street, I read the first part, so I'm about a little over 50 pages in. I will say the first half of the book is a little bit slower, and I kind of remember it being slower, but it's still cool. We're following Ezra Fear, who is like the next generation. At the end of the first book, he was a young man. Now he is older. He has a wife and kids of his own, and he's basically on a mission to find the good family and destroy them for the curse that they have put on his family. Basically, it ends up driving he and his family to the original settlement where the good family is from and where the Fear family had originally settled. Everybody in the town is dead, wiped out by a plague, and the youngest daughter of Ezra's starts talking to this little girl and becomes friends with her. Yeah, things get kind of spooky from there. So I'm going to be reading a whole bunch more of this tomorrow on Sunday, 4th of July. Anyway, I'm going to go to bed because I'm really sleepy. I got to go sleep off the fried food. All right. Bye. It's true, guys. You are the hocus to my pocus. It is Sunday, 4th of July, the 4th of July, as I used to call it when I was a kid. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing today. I don't know if there's gonna be events or not. I don't know if we're gonna go out. I have no idea. It's all up in the air, we'll see. But I have my coffee, it's morning time. I have to make my bed still, so that's what it looks like when it's all unmade, in case you ever wondered. And I think I'm gonna watch some booktube videos. I know that there are a couple of book hauls. I know Merce from Harpies in the Trees just posted one. Also Kelsey from Slime and Slashers has a new vintage book haul. So everybody's posting book hauls today. I would really like to go and watch those and just enjoy my coffee. I might do a little bit of reading from The Secret, which is the second Fear Street saga. I don't know what is up, guys, with my camera on my phone. Whenever I get too close to the light, instead of like balancing my face, it just like blows me out and I look all ill. So see, look, when I get too close, look at that. What is going on? That just looks unnatural and weird. But then I get back and like, look, it looks fine. This is how I normally look. I don't usually look like that. So I don't know why. I don't know why it does that. It used to be fine, and then all of a sudden my phone started doing this within the last couple of months. But anyway, I might dig into this and read a little bit. But first, we'll go ahead and watch some videos, and we'll just go from there.
Welcome, fellow freaks, geeks, and
If you guys have not watched Kelsey from Slime and Slashers, she is awesome. She posts so many great book hauls, and I've been finding out about a lot of books that I've never heard of from her videos. And she's just so fun and just bubbly and just very entertaining to watch, and it just puts me in a good mood to watch her videos. So I highly recommend her videos. I'm gonna link them down below, her channel, so that way you can go and check it out. Definitely subscribe, because she's so fun, and I really hope that she gets a little bit more attention with her YouTube channel.
Hey guys, it's Merce. Welcome back to Harpies in the Trees, where I review horror books with a supernatural focus.
Another one I'm going to link down below is Merce from Harpies in the Trees. I just love her channel. I've loved it since she started making videos. Her channel has the most amazing aesthetic with the candelabra. It's very spooky and gothic. But check out her videos. Her videos are great.
Jonathan is having a housewarming party. Whoa! Unfortunately, there will be some surprise guests. They have very bad manners, and they have no respect for privacy. They'll wake up the neighbors. Ghoulies. They'll get you in the end.
So I got done watching the videos. I did a little bit of reading, and then I got inspired to do a Fear Street book spreadsheet. So here we have my spreadsheet. So as you can see, original series and publication order, publication date. Then I also have if I own it, if it's a first printing, if I've read it, the condition that it's in, and if I would like to eventually replace it with a better copy. As you can see, the original, the quote-unquote original series is all in yellow, and then any of the super chillers are in red, and then the trilogies are all in green. So I'm working on it. I've got this much done so far, and I still have to color code these. But yeah, so far, it's going really well, and this is gonna help me keep a whole lot more organized when it comes to my Fear Street books. Anyway, we are about to have a 4th of July parade on my street, so I'm gonna go take a look. Whoa, look at Uncle Sam. Hey, hi. So, of course, the last clip that I filmed was from Sunday on the 4th, and it is now Friday. So, many days later, I'm sorry, I've not been very good at vlogging at all, but I have had some time to read. So, actually, I finished reading Fear Street Saga, The Secret. That's the second book in the trilogy, and I liked it. I will say I didn't like it as much as I did when I was a kid, and I don't like it as much as the first book, which is The Betrayal, which I don't have with me. I feel like The Betrayal was just this epic, sprawling story. This is a continuation of that, like a direct continuation, but I felt like this one was a little bit slower. It just didn't grab me the way the first book did. This one has a little bit of that sophomore slump where it's kind of like a filler. Some important stuff happens, but overall it's just like, it feels like filler for the most part. It's good to read it, don't skip it, because you need to find out certain things in this book in order to continue on with the next one. So don't skip this book. It's still good. I still give it like 3.5 stars, so it's not a bad book. It's just not the 5-star book that The Betrayal was. But I'm really excited to continue on to the third book, which is of course The Burning. I was going to continue on and go ahead and read this, but I decided, you know what, since Lights Out is what the second part of the trilogy is based off of, I want to go ahead and read this. So I've been working on this. I'm only like 52 pages in, so I wanted to finish this before I watched part 2 of the trilogy, but of course the movie is out as of today and I want to go ahead and watch it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually gonna go watch that right now, and then I'll just finish this book tomorrow. So I wanted to finish it before I saw the movie. It's not gonna happen. It's fine, it's fine. And then after I read this, I will go back to the Saga and read this. So yeah, that's my plan anyway. Do you guys want to see something cool? My brother-in-law actually got me a gift. He got me a Fear Street shirt. I was not expecting him to buy me a Fear Street shirt, but he did. He didn't read the books or anything, and neither did my sister, but we watched the movie together last week and they both loved it. So they kind of have Fear Street fever just like the rest of us. So he got me a Fear Street shirt, and it has the cover from Cheerleaders, The First Evil, which is like my favorite cover of the series. It's so good, it's so good. So I'm glad to have another Fear Street shirt that I can wear in my videos. I was gonna wear it while I'm watching the movie, but it's got that new t-shirt smell, which if you buy t-shirts very often, you probably know new t-shirt smell isn't the best. So I'm gonna actually wash this first. Anyway, just wanted to give you an update. I'm gonna go and watch the movie right now. Super pumped, can't wait. So I'll let you know what I think here in a minute.
Dear Mom and Dad, I've been at sleepaway camp for almost 3 weeks, and I'm getting very scared.
Someone is watching you. Someone is waiting for you. Someone wants to scare you to death.
Oh my God.
Sleepaway camp. You won't be coming home. Rated R.
Is the lighting funky? Yes. Yes, it is. But we're gonna go with it. It is not Friday anymore. It is actually Saturday night. I have watched part 2 of the Fear Street trilogy, and I have also finished reading Lights Out. So I wanted to actually finish reading this before I give you my thoughts on the sequel, and I didn't necessarily have to, because the movie is completely different from Lights Out. This is just like a very loose basis for what the movie is. They base the movie in Camp Nightwing, which is where this book takes place. That's mostly where the similarities stop. There are some other similarities, but they're very, very small. Where should I start? I guess I should start with the book. I'll start with the book. So here's Lights Out. This is book number, I think, number 13 in the series, I believe. Follows a girl named Holly who has just become a counselor at Camp Nightwing, which is run by her uncle. She's kind of just agreed to go to her uncle's camp because he needs the help. So she's not really an outdoorsy person. She does not want to be there at all, but she agrees to go. And everything immediately starts going wrong. It turns out that this girl that she used to be friends with at her old school is a counselor at Camp Nightwing as well, and the two do not get along anymore, so that immediately starts a whole bunch of drama. And not only that, but somebody, some unknown person is sabotaging the camp. And of course, these disastrous events soon lead to murder. And let me say, there's a really, really good kill in this book. It is definitely one of the goriest kills of the Fear Street series, and I believe this is like the first gory kill to ever appear in the series. Up to this point, there really wasn't, but this one was was pretty brutal, and it was great. It was really good, and I enjoyed the book. It's a lot of fun. I love just seeing all of the summer camp things. There are a lot of nods to like Friday the 13th. In fact, there is a direct nod to Friday the 13th in here, and I don't want to spoil anything about the ending, but it definitely felt like Friday the 13th. I really enjoyed it. I think it's one of the best Fear Street books. Now, for the movie, Fear Street Part 2, 1978. So the movie, of course, starts off where the first movie left off. The kids are coming to see this woman who apparently survived the massacre at the summer camp in 1978. And then the woman then starts to tell her story. And from there, we jump back to the 70s. And it is a very contained, very isolated story taking place in the summer camp. There's not as much jumping around. There's not as much adventure as in the first movie. It is a lot more streamlined and focused. You're not having to focus on a whole bunch of characters. There are quite a few characters, but the majority of the focus kind of lays on the shoulders of just a few characters, and it's a lot easier to keep track of, and I felt like it had a lot more emotion and heart for that reason. I just felt a lot more invested in this one than I did in the first one, and I really enjoyed the first one. I loved it. Even though it didn't really feel like Fear Street to me, I still loved the first movie. But this one, I don't know, it just felt more exciting to me, and it might be because I am such a big fan of slashers, especially camp slashers. This just had everything that I love when it comes to a slasher. It is brutal. It is so brutal and violent and gory, and it does not cut away. It shows you everything. When someone's head gets chopped off, they show it, which is not something that I would typically expect from a Fear Street movie, because while the Fear Street books do have some blood and some kills, they're nothing compared to what you see in these movies, especially in part 2. It's a lot, and it's really intense, especially at the end of the movie. It is super intense. And would I say it is Fear Street? No, it doesn't necessarily feel like Fear Street to me still. It feels like a totally different thing. Still, we have no mention of Fear Street itself. We have mention, of course, of Shady Side and everything like that, but Fear Street, I don't know where it's at. I don't know why they haven't referenced Fear Street yet. Hopefully they do in the third movie. If they don't, I will be disappointed, because, I mean, it's Fear Street. Like, it's what the movie's called. You need to have Fear Street in there. So I hope it's at least referenced, you know? I just want at least a reference, but still, I really, really enjoyed the movie. The relationships between the characters were great, and the acting is top notch. I loved Sadie Sink, who plays Ziggy in the movie. She played Max in Stranger Things. She was like 15, 16 when she did this movie. The girl can act, and when it comes to the ending, she really, really sells it. I think she's a great final girl. I really, really enjoyed her in this movie. I really enjoyed her sister as well, who's kind of like this goody two-shoes kind of character. Kind of reminded me of a Fear Street character in a lot of ways. I thought she was great too. The actress did a really great job. So it's a very solid movie, and I'm super excited to watch 1666, which is part 3 in the trilogy. I am pretty nervous because I know they're going to change a lot of stuff from the saga. But you know, I'm trying to keep an open mind about it. I'm sure even if it's not like the Fear Street saga, I'm still going to enjoy it as a movie. That's what's happened with these other 2 movies so far. Even though they're not totally Fear Street, they're still really well-made movies. They're still a lot of fun, and I'm still going to watch them like every summer because they're very rewatchable. I'm going to be reading some of this tomorrow, and then of course at the end of the vlog I will share my thoughts on the 1666 movie. We just have a week left of waiting, and then we can see it all wrap up. So it is Sunday morning, and I am taking a nice, dreary, rainy walk through the cemetery. It's not actually raining, but it looks like it could rain at any moment. It's all very wet out here. I can't get over how freaking huge this tree is. It's insane. I kind of forget that it's here every time, and then I walk by it and I'm like, whoa, it's a big tree. This is usually where I go to read, but it's pretty soggy and wet today. It's very humid. It's cool, but humid at the same time. It's like 71 degrees, but it feels more like 80. and I do not feel like sitting here and being eaten to death by mosquitoes, so we're gonna walk over here instead. I should probably talk about Fear Street since this is a Fear Street reading vlog. When I get home, I'm gonna start into Fear Street Saga, The Burning, which is the 3rd book. I'll be honest, I don't remember a whole lot of what happens in the last book. I haven't read it in years, since I was like 10 years old, so it's been almost 20 years. So it's gonna be interesting to revisit it and kind of refresh my memory of how everything wraps up. That'll be cool. I think I'm gonna walk home now and go ahead and start reading. What's up? So, just got home, took a shower, and I was gonna sit down and read a little bit of The Burning, and then I found out that my sister and my brother-in-law are gonna go to Trader Joe's, and right next door to Trader Joe's is 2nd and Charles, which is this big bookstore, one of my favorite bookstores ever, and I thought I would go with them. I need to pick up some stuff at Trader Joe's, and I want to see if they have any Fear Street books at 2nd and Charles. I was at 2nd and Charles like a month and a half ago, and they didn't have like hardly anything in terms of R.L. Stine, but it's always worth a check. I'm gonna be right there, so I may as well. So I'm gonna take you along with me. We're gonna see if we can find any Fear Street, any YA, vintage horror, Goosebumps, anything like that. It doesn't just have to be Fear Street. It could be literally any of that stuff, and I'm gonna buy it because I love that shit. All right, let's go. So I'm looking through the children and teen section. I'm not really finding a whole lot. I mean, I found a couple of things, but it's nothing that I don't already own. I did find a Fear Street. There's a Ghost of Fear Street. It's not really what I was looking for, but I'm missing this one, so I'm glad I at least found that. But in terms of regular Fear Street books, I have not found hardly anything, so oh well. Hello people. So I am back from 2nd and Charles, and I found a couple of things. I didn't find a ton, but I did find a couple of gems. I'm going to start with the ones that are not really horror themed. I'll just go through these quick. I got one of the books in the Nancy Drew Diaries by Carolyn Keene. This is called The Phantom of Nantucket Island. Nantucket Island. This is book number 7 in the series, which is one of the few that I was missing. So I got that in hardcover. I also got a Boxcar Children book. Love Boxcar Children. They're a blast from the past for me. I used to read these when I was a kid. In fact, I had this exact same copy when I was a kid. So I was glad that I was able to find that again. I really regret selling my Boxcar Children books. So this one's called The Mystery at Skeleton Point. It's 91 in the series. It was only $1.75. Now let's get into the horror books. So, well, I guess this is technically more of a mystery thriller, but this is Joan Lowry Nixon's Spirit Seeker, which I actually just bought a copy of at a thrift store for $1. This one was $1.50. It's a first printing and it's in beautiful condition, which is the reason why I bought it. So I went ahead and picked that up, and I'm just gonna sell off my other one. I also found, as you saw in the clip, a Christopher Pike book. This one is Spooksville #2, The Howling Ghost, one of the ones that I was missing. This was only $1.30. It's in really nice shape. It does have like this bend to it, so I'm gonna have to see what I can do about that. But it's a first printing, and it's really hard to find these, so I was glad that I could get that for so cheap. Then of course, I also got Ghosts of Fear Street. This is number 19, 3 Evil Wishes. I also got Devil's Race by Avi. I used to read a lot of Avi's work when I was a kid, and I did not realize that he wrote a horror novel. At least I think this is a horror novel. A graveyard meeting is John's first link to the evil that lived in the past. And of course, it's got that amazing cover art. I love the purples. Very, very spooky. This was originally published in 1984, I believe in hardcover, and then it was republished by Avon Flair in 1987. So this is the first printing of the paperback. As you can see, it is an Avon Flair book, and Avon Flair books do tend to be pretty hard to find. So I was glad to find that for $1.95. It's a pretty nice paperback edition. It's not in very bad shape at all. So for $10, that is not a bad haul at all. A couple of these would go for $10 on its own on eBay. So glad that I could at least find some gems. Hey guys, so I'm at work. I'm actually on my break. I get to go home soon. And right now I am reading Party Summer. This is the first super chiller in the Fear Street series. And I know I said that I was reading The Burning, which is Fear Street Saga number 3. I am still reading that. I'm actually reading that one at home. And then whenever I come during the day to work, I'm reading this. It's been a while since I have updated this vlog at all. I have not been good at vlogging lately. It's because I started this new full-time job. Well, not a new job. I've been here. I've just started it full-time. And then I've also been writing when I get home. So I've just been very, very busy. And I've been reading whenever I get a chance. I've just not had like a chance to vlog. Like once I get home and after I write, then it's dark and the lighting isn't good. And it's just like, I forget about it. So I wanted to update you because it is Thursday. And that means that tomorrow is when the third part of the Fear Street Netflix movie trilogy comes out. I'm very, very excited. So excited to watch it. So tonight and tomorrow, I'm going to be focusing on the saga, getting that finished up so I am ready for 1666. And then I will be finishing up this. So this is great so far. This is about a girl named Carrie. It's spelled C-A-R-I, so I keep wanting to say Carly, but it's actually Carrie. And she is going on vacation with her friends to this hotel in Massachusetts. It's like off the bay. Very, very nice, very old hotel. And they're going there to kind of, work and, be lifeguards while they're there and whatever. But they're mostly there because they want to party. Well, they get there and it turns out that the hotel is still being renovated and is not open to the public yet. And the man who runs the hotel is Simon Fear. Did not realize this going in, that this was going to pair so well with The Burning, because that is about Simon Fear from the 1800s. This is about Simon Fear III. So we have Simon Fear's great nephew, I think. And he tells them, hey, sorry, the hotel isn't open yet. We tried to notify you guys, but if you want, you can still stay here and help with the renovations. So they do. And it turns out something not quite right is going on at this hotel, and there's probably a reason why Simon Fear is the owner of this hotel, and that it's not coincidence that he got kids from Shady Side to come and help out. So yeah, they should have known that, that it's not a coincidence. It's something weird is going on. This is fantastic so far. This is so far one of my favorite Fear Street books. I put this up there with Silent Night. Now I am a little over halfway through, so I still have a little bit more to go, but so far it's fantastic. I'm really, really enjoying this. It's a great summer read. It's very spooky, very atmospheric, and pretty well written. You get quite a bit more in the way of descriptions of the setting and the characters with this book, so it is a little better written, and it is quite a bit thicker than the other Fear Street books. So I recommend this one. I would say don't start here because it doesn't actually take place in Shady Side on Fear Street. It's just referenced. But this is a really good one to hit up once you've read a few of the regular Fear Street books. It's fantastic.
The California coast, playground of America, until something deep beneath the sand turned it into Blood Beach.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, you can't get to it.
I'm not kidding, I think I'm fine, my feet!
Blood Beach, where the water may be the safest place to be. Rated R.
Hey guys, it is July 16th, Friday morning. I got up at 5 a.m. to do some writing before work, so that's what I'm doing right now. And like I said, it is Friday 16th, which means that today is the finale of the Fear Street movie trilogy. I am going to be reading book 3 of the saga all day today. That is The Burning. I'm hoping I can read that in between classes on the bookmobile and hopefully get it finished. But anyway, I'm going to finish up my writing and get to work. I'm thinking I might stop by Dunkin'. I might leave a little bit early and go to Dunkin'. We'll see. Actually, I think that's definitely what I'm going to be doing. That sounds really good. I need some Dunkin'. I need some breakfast in me. Coffee. I need coffee. I'm so tired, guys. I'm so sleepy. I don't usually wake up at 5 a.m., but I really needed to get some writing done because I didn't get much done last night. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. And honestly, I got a lot done. Turns out I work pretty well in the morning when everything is quiet. So I might start doing this. Hopefully I can make a habit about it. Don't know if that's going to happen. Not guaranteeing anything, but it would be nice if I could try to make myself a morning person. I used to be a night person. I used to be a night owl. And now I'm not even that. Now I just like to sleep. Hey, creeps. So, just finished reading Fear Street Saga, The Burning, and I have watched 1666. So I'm here to review this and the movie. I have not finished reading Party Summer yet. First, I'm going to let you know my final thoughts on The Burning. This is a fantastic finale to the saga. I liked this better than the second book, not quite as much as the first book, The Betrayal, but this is a great finale. I thought it wrapped things up beautifully and really paves the way, pun intended, for the rest of the Fear Street series. I just love the saga. Definitely check this out if you haven't. I would say read some of the regular Fear Street books first before getting into this one, just so that way you appreciate this a little bit more. I think if you are a seasoned Fear Street fan, you definitely see the Easter eggs. I really, really loved it. I give this 4.5 out of 5 stars. All right, so 1666, where to start? I guess I'll start by saying that the movie, the first half of the movie, takes place in 1666, and then halfway through the movie, we jump back to 1994, and it wraps up the entire trilogy. So don't worry, the entire movie is not set in 1666. I was really confused about it to begin with. I was like, how are they going to do this? Are they going to, time travel, and then they're going to break the curse in the past? That's not what happens. There isn't time travel. Thank God. I was so worried about that because that would have been really cheesy. Instead, we are seeing the 1600s through Dina's eyes, who is the main character of 1994, and she's seeing everything transpire through Sarah Fier's eyes. So she's kind of like experiencing it from her point of view, and she is also projecting her own reality in 1994 to the characters in 1666. So you have a lot of the same actors playing different roles. And I thought that was cool. It was a cool way to utilize the cast further and bring them into the 1600s instead of having a completely new cast of characters. Instead, you have these actors that you're already connected to. I really like that. And I thought that the movie overall was very good. It is pretty similar to the spirit of the saga in a lot of ways, and it uses the 1600 segments of the first book, The Betrayal, pretty much in the same way. It just kind of reverses it. So instead of having Suzanne Good tried and burned as a witch, you have Sarah Fier tried and burned as a witch. And instead of it being the Fier family that sentences her to death, instead, it is the Goods. So they kind of reverse the roles a little bit there. And overall, it's the same point. It's the same basic concept. They definitely changed a lot, but it does hold true to the 1600s portion of the saga. Anyway, I thought it had a really good emotional conclusion. And then we jump back to 1994 and we have the epic finale. And this was okay. I wasn't crazy about it. I know a lot of people are saying that 1666 is their favorite of the trilogy. It's not my favorite. I personally still like 1978 just a little bit better. I think the finale overall is just that. It's a great finale. It's a great conclusion, but it doesn't really feel like its own movie. I think for 1994 and 1978, you can watch those as their own thing. For part 3, you really have to in order to appreciate it, watch the other two first. So I won't be rewatching 1666 very much. I'll rewatch 1994, I'll rewatch 1978, but in order for me to fully appreciate 1666 each time, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the first two and watch it all as a trilogy. It just doesn't have the, the standalone rewatchability as the other two. I also had a lot of issues with the fact that Fear Street is not part of the movies at all. We see it very, very briefly, and at the end of this movie, that's it. That's it. We don't hear about it. We don't experience anything, any of the horrors of Fear Street like we do in the books. It's not there. And that's very disappointing to me. I was really hoping that they would have maybe a grand finale on Fear Street, but they don't. It's all in the mall, which is fine. It's fine. I really wanted the finale to be on Fear Street. I wanted to see the cemetery. I wanted to see the burned down Fear Mansion. But that's not a part of the story at all. So yeah, disappointment. Some other disappointing things about the trilogy overall. I would say, while I love the gore and the violence, the other parts of the R rating, like the excessive swearing, the sex, the nudity, the drug use, it doesn't feel like Fear Street to me at all. The violence, yes, because the books are pretty bloody and violent. The movies definitely more so. But when it comes to like the drug use and the sex and the swearing, none of that's in the books. And it just doesn't feel right to me to have that be a part of the movies. Overall, I think it was a pretty epic finale. I think they wrapped things up really well, and it had a lot more closure than the books ever did, because the books never really wrap things up. The curse is never broken. With this, you actually get a full overarching story, and it does leave things open for future installments, which is awesome. Please give me a Fear Street TV show. Please. I need like an anthology Fear Street show where it adapts each and every book in the series. That would be so cool. Do I feel like the movie did the books justice? No, I don't. I still think the books are better. I don't think the movie sticks very close to the books at all. It just barely captures the spirit of the books. Just barely. I feel like these are really well-made movies. I think it's a great trilogy. I had a lot of fun with it. But when it comes to it being like a Fear Street movie trilogy, it doesn't feel like Fear Street. The tone isn't right. It didn't feel like classic Fear Street to me as a fan, but I still enjoyed them. So there you go. It's a mixed bag. I had some very contradictory thoughts, but overall I enjoyed it. So that's all that I really care about. And I still have the books. So that's the good thing. Don't say that the movies have ruined the books for you, because you still have the books. They're still there. They still have a special place in our hearts. And there's still hope, because this has been really popular. The movies are doing great. The reviews have been awesome. It is like the most watched series on Netflix right now. So that gives me hope for more, which gives me hope for, you know, a more faithful adaptation in the future.
There are 200 seniors at Midvale High and 7 days till graduation. The class of 81's having the time of their life. Graduation Day, rated R.
So it is many months later. It is actually November. We are about to go into Thanksgiving here, and I'm sick.
First break I get in a while, and I'm like, yeah, not feeling great. It's fine. I'm just gonna spend today in bed, and I thought, you know, what better time than to start my reading vlog for my Thanksgiving break. So of course, when I started my vlogs, I started reading the books from the very beginning, from the very first book, The New Girl, and reading all of the Fear Street books in publication order. So I got up to book number, I think it was book number 10, and then I jumped forward a little bit. So that is Fear Street, The Fire Game, book number 11. This is one that I skipped just because, I don't know, the cover wasn't calling out to me, and there were some other books I was more excited to read, like Lights Out and everything like that. So I did skip this one, but I went ahead and read it like a couple months ago. It's about these kids who are kind of like daring each other to start fires, and stuff starts getting out of control. I actually really enjoyed it, and I wanted to just kind of update my thoughts on this one. Also, I read The Secret Bedroom, which is number 13 or 14 in the series, I think. I just was in the mood for more Fear Street a couple months ago, and I read this one too and loved it. It's about a girl who moves into a new house, and she finds out that there's this secret bedroom in her attic, and there's like a ghost in it, and it gets really weird. It's a bizarre one, and I loved it. I thought it was just trippy and bonkers and trashy and just fantastic. Put a smile on my face. The next Fear Street books in my queue, the next ones in the series are, for one, this one right here, Silent Night. This will be a reread for me. I read this one when I was a kid. I read all the Silent Night books when I was a kid. Loved these. Not only are they my favorite of the Fear Street series, but There's some of my favorite books in general. This one's just so good. So that's the next one in my queue. The one after that in the series is, I forget which one because they aren't numbered. One of these. I think it's this one. I think this is the next one, The Knife. So I just got lucky pretty recently and found this on eBay. And this is one that I've never read, so I'm really excited to dive into this one. I've always wanted a copy. I was just never able to find one. So I finally got a first edition of that. And then another one. Excuse me. Hold on one second. All right, moving on. The Prom Queen. This is one that I've never read, and I'm really excited to get to this one. I've always wanted to read this, and I don't know why I didn't read this as a kid, because I've always owned a copy of this book. So here we go, The Prom Queen. These are the 3 Fear Street books that I'm going to be reading over my Thanksgiving break. I'm gonna get some lunch and some tea, and then we're gonna settle down and we're gonna read Silent Night, and we're gonna revisit Reva Dalby, one of my favorite favorite characters to hate because she's just so horrible. I'll tell you about that later. All right, let's go.
Reva Dalby admired her reflection in the glass countertop. Only 2 weeks till Christmas, she thought, smoothing the eyeshadow.
Hello, creeps. It is almost 1 o'clock, and I have been reading Silent Night. I am about 70 pages in and loving it just as much as I loved it when I was young. I would have read a lot more today, but like I said, not feeling too great. So I have been kind of dozing off a lot today, watching shows, taking breaks, because I'll read for a bit and then my brain will start hurting and I need to just like not think about anything and just slowly doze off. And I need to go to bed because it's really late and I'm so tired. But I did want to update you. So, Silent Night. This follows a girl at Shadyside High School. Her name is Reva Dalby. Her dad owns the Dalby department store in town. Very, very nice department store. And of course it is Christmas time, so they're in their peak season where stuff's getting very, very busy. Reva works at her dad's department store. She works at the perfume counter or the nail polish counter. Let's just say she has a lot of enemies at her school and at the department store. Reva is not nice. She's not nice at all. In fact, she gets a thrill out of being mean. She deliberately will be mean to anybody. And of course, that means that she has lots of enemies. In fact, in the first scene in the book, the prologue, she's standing at the perfume counter. She's about to apply her lipstick and her lip starts bleeding terribly. And it turns out somebody put a needle in her lipstick.
I was putting some lipstick on, and then I was giving my phone.
So you put, what'd you put on?
Lipstick on.
So things start out small and start slowly progressing from there. And I love this book. It is just so fun and so trashy and pulpy and just everything that you want from a book like this. It is so good. So I'm really enjoying it. Can't wait to read more tomorrow. But for now, I'm gonna get to bed because I am uber tired. Hey creeps, it is Wednesday afternoon, the next day, and it's around 2 o'clock. And I've not really done much reading just yet. I've mostly just been cleaning the house, trying to get everything super cozy for Thanksgiving. That way I can enjoy a nice clean house for the rest of Thanksgiving break. So I've been doing that, and I have to say I feel a whole lot better after I got some sleep last night. I slept in until about 9:15, which is a little longer than I usually sleep. I'm usually up by 8, even on my days off. But I got a little extra sleep. feel a whole lot better. So yay, I'm so happy about that. That means I can enjoy Thanksgiving and eat and not feel sick or anything like that. I'm still cleaning, and I'm gonna be cleaning for probably another few hours, but I do need to go with my sister Taylor to our family home that we grew up in and let out the family dog, Biscuit. He's a chug. He is like my best friend. I love that dog with all of my heart, so I'm really excited to go see him. It's been a little while since I've seen Biscuit. Is he there?
Biscuit?
Biscuit? There he is! Hi, buddy! You go outside?
Yeah. Come here. Come here. Yeah.
There's that tail wagging.
Oh, come on. Let's go do that.
He's a good boy. What a cutie you are. Why are you so cute? Oh, what a baby.
Is this yours ball? I'ma throw it. I'ma throw it. Bring it here.
You gotta drop it.
Gotta drop it.
Good boy.
Good boy. Oh, no cheating. But.
Look at those paws. Oh, you rolled it. Oh, you're so cute. Oh my goodness. Happy Thanksgiving, creeps. Well, it's probably not Thanksgiving for you at this current moment. You're probably watching this a little while after Thanksgiving, but it's Thanksgiving for me. And I just wanted to say that I am thankful for all of you. I know it's very corny. I feel corny saying it, but I am very thankful for all of you. You guys have given me so much support this past year. It's been a pretty big year for this channel. I reached 20,000 subscribers. I am now at 23,000, I think, which is really crazy. It's been a long time coming. This channel is over 10 years old and I've finally reached that milestone. So thank you for making that possible and for all of the support you've given me on this channel and in my writing. Because Autumn Crow has done so well this year and I've had so many other great writing opportunities come my way. And then of course there's Autumn Crow High. Anyway, it's Thanksgiving morning. I've already watched the parade. Before I start my reading of Silent Night, I'm going to watch a very, very important film that I watch every year. It's a Thanksgiving classic, a family classic. And that's Blood Rage. I love this movie. It is bonkers. I have a very hard time even explaining it to people, but I would definitely recommend it. Well, maybe not. I would recommend it if you don't have taste whatsoever. So I'm gonna go ahead and watch Blood Rage and then we'll get a little bit of reading in for today. The title says it's called Slasher. That's just another working title. Search Blood Rage if you want to watch it. Don't search Slasher. It probably won't come up. Me, the day after Thanksgiving.
It's not cranberry sauce.
No, it's not.
Should we call the police?
No. Find Brad. He's probably out looking. I'll stay here in case Todd comes home. But Terry, be very careful. He's probably very frightened. And Terry, please put on a sweater. It's cold outside. The blue one.
That isn't cranberry sauce, Artie.
Nope.
That is not cranberry sauce.
That is not cranberry sauce.
Cranberry sauce, Artie.
Nope.
I am full. My dad, my stepmom, and my uncle came. I didn't know that he was coming, so that was cool to get to see him. They all left, and it is about 8:30. I'm probably gonna turn in early tonight, guys. I am exhausted just from the amount of food that I ate. Like, just eating the food has taken a lot out of me. So right now, I am halfway through. I'm a little over 110 pages, and there's all kinds of stuff going on, because not only do you have Riva Dalby's perspective in the book, but it also shifts perspectives to her cousin, who wanted to get a job at Dalby's department store. She called Riva to be like, hey, can I please have a job at my uncle's store? And Riva's like, oh, I'm so sorry. We're all out of positions. We can't give you a job. You're just gonna have to find a job somewhere else. I'm really sorry. You should have called sooner. Which is not true, because Riva has been passing out jobs all over school, and the cousin is now finding out about it, and she's pretty pissed off. Anyway, I'm gonna go read a little bit more and get to bed, so I will catch you guys tomorrow.
The night before Christmas, when all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. Remember, he only looks like Santa Claus. You've made it through Halloween. Now try and survive Christmas. Silent Night, Deadly Night, rated R.
Starts Friday at a theater near you.
Good morning, creeps. It is Black Friday, and today I'm not gonna go anywhere. I was thinking about going to Barnes & Noble, and I'm just not feeling it. I'm not really feeling like buying anything. So today is gonna be just a really relaxing day, no stressful shopping. Just gonna be here at home. I just finished editing a video, which is rendering right over here on my laptop. So if you can hear that fan sound, I'm sorry. It's rendering, and it gets really loud when it's rendering videos. Got my coffee here that my sister Taylor actually just made. She can make a really mean almond honey latte, and that's what this is. It's so good. And I'm drinking out of my Mickey Mouse Disney Christmas mug that my sister Sophia got for me last year. I'm watching some booktube videos right now. Afterwards, I'm going to read a little bit more Silent Night. Also, just got a package in the mail. This isn't actually a Prime package. This is something I ordered from eBay. And this is a Fear Street book, a very rare Fear Street book. So I thought this would be the perfect time to unbox it here in my Fear Street vlog. This is one that I've been trying to get for a while now, and I was so happy to find it for a good price. And it's in great condition. It's a first printing, so it's everything I was wanting. I wound up getting a really good deal on this, so I'm very pleased. All right, so this is one that I actually used to own a copy of when I was younger, and it wasn't a first printing, and I ended up selling off a bunch of my Fear Street books that weren't first editions. And I'm kind of regretting that now, because a lot of the ones that I sold off were rare, regardless if they were first editions or not. So now I've been trying to get them all back as first editions, and it's been taking me years to do that. But anyway, I finally got a copy of this, is what I'm saying. And that is High Tide, which is one of the super chillers. This is a later book in the series. This comes way toward the end of the series, when the books start getting a lot rarer and harder to find. So I'm really happy to have this really nice first edition. At this point, there are only, let's see, 1, 2, 3, I think 4 more of the original Fear Street books that I need to get. And then after that, my collection of original Fear Street books is complete. And I will be very happy when that happens, because I've been putting a lot of time and energy into collecting all of these. So I'm almost there. Anyway, I'm going to sit back, finish watching some booktube videos, and then we're gonna dig back into Silent Night and see what Riva Dalby is up to. It wasn't a fear that could be easily pinned down, but ever since she'd been a little girl, whenever Riva had been in the department store after closing, whenever she had walked the dark, empty aisles alone with the doors locked, the fear was there. Hello, it is Saturday night. I have gone a whole day without updating the vlog. Oops. I finished reading Silent Night, and I meant to do some more reading today. And then I started watching you on Netflix. I hadn't watched it before, so it was my first time kind of getting into it, and before I knew it, I had watched almost the entire first season. So that's where the day has gone. I don't do that too often though. I work a lot, and I don't usually just sit down and binge watch a show like normal people do. So it was kind of nice to do that on my break here. But I am about to read The Knife. I'm about to get started into this one, even though it is 9:30, so I will be going to bed pretty soon, but I'll stay up for a little bit and get started on this one. The thing about this book is that it is a lot shorter than Silent Night. Silent Night is a super chiller, so it's a bit thicker. This one is very small, and the font is actually a little bit bigger than in Silent Night, so I will probably get through this one a lot quicker. I've also never read this before, so I'm really excited to get into this. It's, I guess, about the Shadyside Hospital, and I believe there's a plastic surgeon involved. I might be wrong about that. That's just what I have heard before. But as for Silent Night, I love this book. I still love it. I think it's great. It's one of the best Fear Street books. It takes so many twists and turns, and R.L. Stine is pretty clever with his plot twists. Also, with it being a super chiller, the plot is a little bit deeper. There is a little bit more characterization. There's a lot more action. So I loved it. I thought it was great the second time around, just as good as it was when I was a kid. So I do recommend this wholeheartedly, and I think this is available still in print on Amazon. I think you can get it's like a taller paperback, but you can still get this. It's still in print. As for The Knife, I don't think this is in print anymore. It's actually a pretty rare one. It took me a while to find. And as you can see, I have first printings of both of these books. And this is the one where they changed the cover layout. This is the layout that they used, where they put more emphasis on R.L. Stine's name. They used this for almost the remainder of the series. But before that, for the first 15 books, there was a lot more emphasis on the Fear Street part. I think they changed that because R.L. Stine was starting to become a bigger name by then. So his name was more or less the selling point of the series. But honestly though, I much prefer when they put more emphasis on, Fear Street, but that's just me. Anyway, I'm going to have a seat and get cozy and start reading The Knife for the very first time.
Hi, I'm Stephanie, and I want to tell you about something that's way cool.
Club Teen.
I know you like to talk on the phone.
So call Club Teen.
You'll never guess what happened. Well, call Club Teen and talk about it. Or just listen.
Wild.
You can't trust anyone with your secret.
Excellent.
Get your parents' permission.
And call
1-900-909-0100.
I couldn't believe it.
Club Teen.
Way cool.
Just $2 for the first minute and 45 cents for each additional minute. It's just for teens.
It's done. I have finished both The Knife and the Prom Queen. So first off, The Knife. I will start off by saying that this is not about a plastic surgeon. I don't know where I got that from. I think I heard it in some video, and it's not true. It is not about a plastic surgeon. It is about a hospital. This is about a girl named Lori. So of course I get a lot of Halloween 2 vibes from this because of course Laurie Strode running away from somebody in a hospital. So there's a lot of Halloween 2 kind of scenes in this. Basically, Lori is a volunteer from Shadyside High. She's volunteering at the hospital because she wants to be a doctor someday. And she ends up seeing that there's this young boy who is a patient at the hospital, and something seems wrong with him and his mother. And she begins to suspect that something's not right. There's also some weird things going on in the hospital. Really, it's hard to describe the plot of this book because there really isn't much of a plot. You got Lori, who feels like something's wrong, and she's chasing all of these leads thinking they're going to tie together at some point, and they really don't tie together until the very end of the book. It's entertaining overall, but it just didn't really feel like a Fear Street book to me. The writing felt different. Also, I mentioned this before, the font is a lot larger in this book compared to other Fear Street books, like in The Prom Queen. The book feels very rushed. It feels like it's a lot shorter than the other books, and that it was just like the font was made bigger to make the book feel like a normal length Fear Street book when it's really not. I just didn't really jive with this one. I still give it probably 3 stars. It's still an okay book, but it's not as not what I was expecting, and not as good as I was hoping, because I love this cover. And this is one that I have heard pretty good things about, and I've been, you know, on the lookout for it for a long time, and I was really happy to get it because I was so excited to read it. But what I did care for very, very much was The Prom Queen, which is the next book in the series. This was just so good. So the very first line of the book, this is what we open up with. We couldn't stop talking about the killer. It had me from line one. I loved that. And that's really what you get with this book. You have this, all of these candidates for prom queen. All of them are best friends, but they all have a little bit of drama. You know, there's some things hinted toward. And now there's somebody who's killing all of the prom queens one by one. And, you know, the whole point of the book is who's going to make it to prom night, you know? Really, really good. Not supernatural like you would expect from the cover. There's nothing supernatural here. It is a pretty much a slasher. And I really, really loved it. And we also get a whole lot more in the way of gory deaths. We did have a stabbing in this book. Wasn't anything too graphic, but in this one, we actually had a little more violence, a little bit more gore. That's something that the later Fear Street books have quite a lot of. But earlier on in the series, there wasn't a whole lot. This was where things started to kind of pick up a little bit more with the violence department. So I loved this. This was what I was hoping from The Knife. This was a Fear Street book. We had all of those, you know, high school vibes and the drama. We had all of those staple Fear Street characters. We got to see Sookie again. Sookie, who pops up in some of the earlier books. She reappears in this, which was awesome. I loved that. So yeah, 5 stars for this one. It was just a whole lot of fun, and probably one of my favorite books in the series now.
Once in a while, a motion picture comes along that is unlike any you've ever seen. Splatter University. Yes, at Splatter U, the school color is blood red, and the most important lesson is survival. Enroll at Splatter University and earn a higher degree in terror. Splatter U.
We can't see out, and no one can see in, she said, snuggling against his shoulder. It's like we're in our own private world. He smiled at her and hugged her closer. He kissed her, a long, lingering kiss. She closed her eyes. He kept his wide open, staring at the windshield, which was... Wow. Okay. I have only read the first chapter so far, and I already need to make a comment about this book. The opening chapter of this is probably my favorite of all of the Fear Street openings that I have read so far. It rocks, and it is just the ultimate Fear Street opening. You've got the girl who's on a date with this sexy guy, and there's obviously something wrong, like really, really wrong with this dude. You're all up in his head, and he's thinking about how much she looks like all of the other girls. What other girls? Girls that he's gone on dates with? No, there's a whole lot more to it than that. It's pretty clear that whoever this guy is, he is murdering his dates. And it's really dark and it's really messed up, especially being so deep inside of his head. And I love it. I really like it. So I'm enjoying this so far, and I am really, really pumped to read even more. So I know this is going to be following a girl named Chelsea Richards who lives in Shadyside, and whoever this guy is, we don't really know what his real name is, he is now on his way to Shadyside because it sounds like a place he'd like. Shadyside. I'm really excited to get deeper into this. I'm loving it already, and I'm only 8 pages in, so let's read some more. Okay, I've read a little bit more of First Date, just a little bit more. I was going to read more than what I read, but my sister and my brother-in-law are going to grill out hot dogs, which sounds amazing right now. So we're going to do that, and I will afterwards probably go on a walk. Kind of want to go to the cemetery because reading Fear Street books always makes me want to, go for a walk and visit the cemetery, as you do. So after I'm done eating, I'm gonna do that, and then I will come home and probably do some writing, and then also dig into First Date a little bit more before bed. And I'm really enjoying this so far. I will say the main character, Chelsea Richards, is a little bit whiny and a little bit annoying, but I'm pretty patient when it comes to characters like that, because I realize, you know, your characters gotta grow, especially when they're teenagers. They're gonna be a little whiny, but eventually they're probably gonna go through enough shit that they grow up. So I'm hoping that'll be the case with Chelsea Richards right here. I will say though, there are so far a lot of comments about her weight and all of her insecurities, which is just such a staple of Fear Street books. It was, what year was this published? 91, I think? 92. So it's a pretty old book. It's gonna happen. But I'm going to go get some hot dogs and go for a walk, and then we'll get into this later. That's a good one. Oh no. Your time is coming. Sooner than you think. Or maybe you're already gone, and you just don't know it yet. Maybe that's why you can't imagine growing old. Why you're so disconnected from those who were once so close. Because you're already dead. Because you're fading away. Maybe you were never here. Maybe the world moved on before you ever had a chance. The ghost of a future that will never come to pass. Alright, so it is the next day. I got back from work and did a little bit more reading in First Date. So I'm about 70 pages in. And there was a scene in this book that really kind of surprised me. I've said it before in previous vlogs that it's never a smart idea to own a pet on Fear Street or anywhere in Shadyside, honestly. And this scene was a good example as to why that's not a good idea.
Cute little dog you've got there. But hold on. In a previous life, he could have been George Washington. Nice cat. Perhaps Annie Oakley. And look at him. Why, it's Napoleon. Reincarnation.
But overall, I am really enjoying this. So far, not a whole lot has happened. We are following the main character, Chelsea, who just desperately wants to go on her first date. She just wants a boyfriend so bad. She's new in Shadyside as well and doesn't really know people that well. And her one friend that she's gotten to be close to has a boyfriend, and they're always just like making out right in front of Chelsea. So there are two different guys that she's kind of interested in. So there's this new guy that just moved to Shadyside. And then there's this other guy who comes into her dad's diner a lot, and she works as a waitress, and this other guy comes in there a lot. He's kind of a little rougher looking, you know, leather jacket. And then the other guy that's new in Shadyside is very shy and quiet, but they both look very, very much alike. They both have black hair. They're both very athletic looking. So you're kind of wondering, which guy is it? Because obviously one of these two guys is the killer that we read about in the first chapter of the book, the one that decides to go to Shadyside to look for a new girl to kill. So obviously it's one of these boys, and the mystery is which one is going to try to kill her. Right now she has a date with the boy from her high school, the new boy. So I'm going to see where this is going to go. I'm pretty sure it's him so far. I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to do any spoilers in this video, but that's just my little prediction, because he is very suspicious, while the other guy just seems to be kind of a bad boy, but it's on the surface. He's probably not really that bad. I'm really, really liking this so far. I just love Fear Street. I am always at my happiest when I'm reading a Fear Street book. There's just something about them. They're just so breezy and so entertaining. They're not too detailed. R.L. Stine is actually really good about being brief, but he's not too brief. These books are just like the perfect balance of all of that. They're nostalgic, and I love them. I love this series with all of my heart. I'm actually going to take a shower next, and I'm going to watch a little bit of Twin Peaks after that. Twin Peaks: The Return, because I just recently rewatched Twin Peaks, the original series. I rewatched Fire Walk with Me, and now I am finally watching Twin Peaks: The Return, and I'm loving it. I'm about 13 episodes in, so I'm getting really close to the ending, and I want to watch a little bit more of that tonight. So yeah, I will check in with you really soon about more of my thoughts of a first date.
It's the song! So it is currently Tuesday, and I just got home from work, and I actually had quite a bit of time at work to get some reading in between classes, and I finished reading First Date, and I really enjoyed this one overall. There were a couple things I didn't like, of course, but I mostly really enjoyed it. I don't want to say anything else that happened in the book, because I feel like everything I've already told you was in the synopsis. Telling you any more would just be a spoiler. So it's a relatively simple book overall. There's not any big twists. There's nothing that's going to surprise you, except for maybe the scene I was talking about yesterday, which was really, really messed up. I will say the character of Chelsea Richards is definitely not my favorite. She's the kind of character that complains an awful lot. But at the end of the day, R.L. Stine doesn't always go out of his way to make likable characters. And then, of course, our villain here, he has issues. He is a Fear Street creep, let's just say. I liked it overall. I would say I give this one maybe 3.5 stars, possibly 4 if I were to round it up, but I would say 3.5 is a nice, happy medium. The next book in the series is one that I have been so pumped to read. So pumped, because this is one of my favorite covers of the series, but I've never read it. I didn't actually get a copy until pretty recently. So I finally found one, and that means I can finally read this book. And that is Goodnight Kiss, which is a super chiller. And this one is about vampires. I mean, just look at that cover. It's so good. It's glorious, glorious, glorious cover. Definitely a whole lot more seductive than the previous books in this series. So very, very excited to start reading this. I'm going to start this tonight.
But first, I made some coffee. And of course, I needed to watch Kelsey from Slime & Slasher. She just posted her new video. If you've not watched Kelsey from Slime & Slashers, highly recommend it. If you like my kind of content, you like vintage horror and vintage children's books and things like that, that's what she does. It's all about the 90s, and her channel's just so great. So please go check it out. I will link her channel down below. Jessica's sandals clonked over the wood planks of the walk as she made her way quickly past the small shops and restaurants. She stopped in front of the Beach Emporium, the largest clothing store in Sandy Hollow, and peered into the window. A hand-painted sign read, "Bikinis, half off." Hey guys, it is Thursday and I just got back from work. I forgot to update the vlog yesterday. Oopsie. But that's okay because I got quite a bit of reading done at work today. I read over 100 pages of Goodnight Kiss. The entire time I was reading this book, I had the biggest smile on my face. This might, and if I'm not finished yet, I'm just halfway through, so I still have a little bit to go still. But if it sticks the landing, it may be a new favorite Fear Street book of mine. I'm really bummed that I didn't read this as a kid because I think I would have really liked this. And this has all of the Lost Boys vibes. So we have our main character who lives on Fear Street. She is going on vacation with her family to, let's see, what is this place even called? I don't know, somewhere in Florida, I guess. It's some seaside town with a boardwalk, and there's an arcade, and there's a carnival that's in town setting up. And you have foggy beaches and bonfires on the beach at night. And it's so full of atmosphere. And R.L. Stine is firing on all cylinders when it comes to the descriptions and the sounds and the smells, the sights, the sound of the flip-flops on the beach and the wet sand and the fog creeping in. It's got all of that, and it's not too much either. It's just enough that it doesn't take you out of the story. It's enough to put you in there and make you experience it, but he doesn't do any kind of overkill. It's really a great balance, and I think this might be probably one of his better written books that I've read so far. And it's fun. It is so much fun. Definitely very much a Lost Boys kind of thing, with vampires making a deal to see who can turn someone into a vampire first, like which one can do it the fastest. And it's funny, and you get to hear this bickering between the vampires. It feels very much like Buffy the Vampire Slayer in that way, only this was a little bit before Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This came out in June '92, so around the same time as the original Buffy movie. So that's Goodnight Kiss. I'm hoping I can get a little bit more reading done tonight, though I do have quite a bit of writing that I need to do. It's actually a really good day for writing because it's dreary and gloomy and rainy and stormy and all of the good things for writing. The elements for writing and for reading spooky stories. Though I would say this is a good beach read. I would love to read this on the beach. But yeah, I'm going to go and do some writing right now, and I will catch you guys really soon with another update. Actually, I take that back. I have an unboxing. I got a package in the mail, and this isn't, it's not Fear Street. It's not Fear Street related, but it's close. It's close enough. I thought it would be fun to do a little unboxing here in the video. I know Kelsey from Slime and Slashers, she's always doing unboxings in her vlogs. I ordered a couple of Christopher Pike books that I was missing, and I have the majority of his teen books. I'm still missing a couple, but his Spooksville books is in a series that I've been trying to find a whole lot more of. And I found a couple on eBay the other day. And I'm really, really excited to have these to add to my collection because they are a couple of rarer Spooksville books. And here we go. So we have book number 7, The Dark Corner, not Corridor. Love the cover on this one. I love the covers on these Spooksville books. They're really, really cheesy and campy, but I adore them, of course. So that's book number 7. And then we have book number 18, Attack of the Killer Crabs, which is one that I've been wanting for so long. This is one of the rarest books in the series. Very, very hard to find. Could not believe I was able to score a copy of this book. And just look at the embossing on these covers. This one's just got the embossed font. This one is totally embossed. Look at that. Love the texture. And these are both in beautiful condition, and they're both first printings to add to my collection. So I'm getting closer to completing my Spooksville collection. So yeah, Spooksville, yay!
He's there, behind the wall. You all tried to destroy him, but now you had better be nice to Eric.
Eric Matthews is still alive.
Or Eric won't be nice to you. Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge, rated R.
Hey creeps, it is Monday and I'm at work here on the bookmobile. I'm actually working solo today, so I wanted to kind of show you my view here. It's a beautiful day. I've got the windows open, the door open. So I am halfway through Goodnight Kiss. I am just starting part 2, and so far our vampires bet that they have going on isn't going too well. They keep trying to foil each other's plans, and it's kind of funny just seeing how our main characters have fallen into the games of these vampires. It's pretty good. I'm really enjoying this, so I'm going to hopefully finish this book today. I should have a little bit of time here to read, so hopefully I can finish it, and I will let you know what I think when I'm done. He realized he had awakened from the dream with a word on his lips. Say it. Say the word, he urged himself. And so he said it. Vampires. Stephanie Meyer read Goodnight Kiss. Sorry guys, I just got out of the shower and my hair is a mess. It's Thursday evening, week 1. I haven't really updated the vlog because honestly I've just been working a lot. I've been writing a lot. I needed to submit a story, so I got that done and submitted and edited and all that stuff. So now I am finally kind of free to finish up my reading for the vlog and actually film some clips for the vlog. So I finally finished reading Goodnight Kiss. Loved this book. Honestly, probably one of my new favorite Fear Street books. I really wish I would have read this when I was a kid because I think I would have really liked it. It definitely lives up to the cover. I love the atmosphere. I love the descriptions of the beach and the island with the mansion out in the ocean, and there's bats flying everywhere all over the beach. I also love the ending. The ending was great. It made me laugh. It's something I did kind of see coming, but I'm really glad that R.L. Stine did it because I would have been disappointed had it not happened. So I really liked this, guys. It totally lives up to the cover. Check it out. It's a whole lot of fun. So that means that the next book in the series is Cheerleaders, The First Evil. So this is the very first trilogy that R.L. Stine wrote for the Fear Street series. And boy, is this a banger. I love this trilogy. I've already read this. I've read this one twice, and I've read books 2 and 3 in the trilogy once. So I read the trilogy when I was a kid, preteen, probably 11, 12. And then I reread this about, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago. So one of the things I'm really excited about is that tomorrow I am leaving with my sister and my brother-in-law, and we're gonna go to Hocking Hills, Ohio. We got an Airbnb out in the woods. It's in a really nice spot, really close to all the really cool hiking spots. So we also have a hot tub, and there's a Pac-Man arcade game and like foosball, and it's a really nice little place. And I'm going to use it as an opportunity to have kind of a little writer's retreat, and I'm going to be reading a lot, so I'm going to bring this along with me. I'm also going to be bringing, of course, a couple of Friday the 13th movies because I have to. I have to watch Friday the 13th movies while staying in a house in the middle of the woods. It's got to be done. Anyway, I am taking the day off work tomorrow, so that way we can leave early in the morning. We're gonna hit up a couple of bookstores on the way, so of course I'm gonna bring you guys along to those. I've never been to these bookstores before, but I'm really excited to check them out. There's one called Paperback Exchange. There's another one, which I can't remember the name right off the top of my head, but it's another used bookstore. We're gonna get lunch while we're there, and then we're going up to our Airbnb, and we're gonna do some hiking. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm very excited. I need a vacation. It's been like 2 years since I've been anywhere. Actually, that haunted castle that I went to and I posted a video about it was the last vacation I went on, and that was a little more than 2 years ago. So yeah, it's been a while. So since we are leaving tomorrow morning, that means I need to get my butt in gear and I need to pack. So let's do that right now. These lights are going to be really nice to turn on at night. Oh, nice fire pit. Is this mine? Yeah, this is mine. Oh yeah, nice writing desk. You guys have the bathroom, the nice tub.
Well, you'll still be able to use it.
I want to use it. Look at that tub. I'm so excited to play Pac-Man.
Scrabble.
I swear. Okay, I was gonna say, if it doesn't work, I'm gonna be so mad because I've been most excited to play Pac-Man. Pac-Man Plus, Pac-Man Pal, Pac-Mania, Super Pac-Man, Pac-Land. Gotta see if there's anything in the fridge. Nothing. I'm glad we brought stuff. Hey guys, so I am going to show you what books I got. So we went to this bookstore in Lancaster, Ohio, which is very, very close to where we're staying now. We're staying in Logan, Ohio, which is where Hocking Hills is. But we went to Lancaster on the way through, and it's a town that I'd never been to before. Very, very pretty town. Lots to do, lots of places to shop, antique stores, there's a bookstore, lots of places to eat. And we went to Paperback Exchange, which is kind of an older bookstore. It's been there for a while. It used to be owned by this woman who has now retired. The guy who bought it used to work at the bookstore, I believe, and he's taken it up, and they are currently remodeling the bookstore. So there's a lot of work that's being done, lots of lumber and sheets of plywood everywhere, and there's a lot of dust, sawdust, and drywall dust and things covering the books. And also there's a lot of open windows, so a lot of the books were really faded, I noticed. Like the spines were really, really faded. The books are just kind of dirty. Everything feels really dirty. They also have cats there, and I love a good bookstore cat, but the books all kind of had a lot of cat hair on them. So the books were not in the best of shape, and a lot of the books had a lot of moisture damage as well, and they smell very musty. So I'm gonna have to clean up a lot of these books, but I did find a couple that were in okay condition, especially after I have some time to clean them up. And I did pick up some others that were not in good shape. Like some of these are real bad, but they're so rare that I had to pick them up. I gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed because I had really high hopes for this bookstore. The guy who owned the store was, I don't know, he was just like complaining about customers while I'm standing there waiting to pay. And he had a couple of friends there who he was talking with about all of these customers. And the other friend that was there was like, I'm just so glad I don't have to work in customer service anymore, as I'm standing there getting ready to pay. So I just felt like it was really kind of rude and unprofessional. And there's just like a lot of teasing, which I can take teasing, but after a while, I'm just like, I don't think any of this is funny. I just want to pay for my books and leave. Will I be going back? Probably not anyway, because I'm not up here often at all. Maybe if they remodel, I'll go back and check it out. But at the moment, I'm just kind of like, there's not a lot there. I will show you what books I got though, because I did get a few books. Their pricing was okay. It was like half off the cover price, which is pretty normal for a bookstore like this. So I found a couple of young adult books. Here is book 1 in the Dark Vision series by L.J. Smith, The Strange Power. I already have book 2, so I was able to find a first printing of book 1, and it's in great shape. So that was one that's in good shape. And also book 3. So now I have the entire trilogy, so I'm really happy about that. I love that cover art. The sunglasses, looks really good. I also found a Phyllis A. Whitley mystery. This one is called Secret of the Spotted Shell. This is an author I've been trying to find for a long time. Stories of Suspense, which features The Birds by Daphne du Maurier. See, sometimes I can pronounce her name, sometimes I can't. Today is one of those times when I can't really do it. So we've got the Birds theme on the cover, which is cool. This is published by Scholastic. I'll just continue on with the children's books. I found one of the Humundo Morphs books. This is by M.D. Spencer, who writes the Shivers books. Shivers was a Goosebumps knockoff. This is an Animorphs knockoff. Here we have an Apple paperback, Mr. Wolf and Me by Mary Frances Shura. I always pick up these Apple paperbacks whenever I can find them. This is a first printing from 1979. And then here's another. We have The Fastest Friend in the West by Vicky Grove. Another first print from 1992. All right, so then I found quite a few adult horror, vintage horror. So we have Cutting Edge by Elizabeth Chance. A killer is stalking her, and when she sleeps, she can feel the cutting edge. So this one's not too bad. It's creased up, but the book overall is in decent condition. It's a first print from 1986, published by Tor. We also have Blood Secrets by Dale Ludwig, which I'm pretty sure I have this already. It's a pinnacle suspense book. It's in really nice shape though. No spine creases. March 1993, the month and year I was born. So it's a very shiny copy of that. There is a sticker here that I'm gonna have to try to get off. Here's another pinnacle book. This is Daddy's Home by Paul Dale Anderson. This is one I've been looking for forever and ever and ever and ever, and I've never been able to find it. This one's rough. It's very worn, very, very creased up. As you can see, very faded. You can see how faded it is. And also the pages are just all moisture damaged. But this will be a good reading copy, and it was cheap. So I wasn't too worried about it. I was just happy to find a copy. We have Blake House by Adrian Savage. This is one I've been looking for a while. And this one's in good shape. No spine creases. It's a little dirty and a little dusty, but I can fix that. Just clean it up a little bit. This is a first print from 1990. Of course, V.C. Andrews. I have most of her books, but I'm missing quite a few of the later ones. This one is called Hidden Leaves. We've got a little bit of artwork on the back. These newer editions aren't quite as good. She kind of looks like Anya from Buffy. This looks awesome. I've never heard of this book before. I've never seen this cover, which is rare for me. So I'm sure a lot of you out there probably haven't seen this one before either. I could be wrong, but I was blown away when I saw this. So A Paper Mask. So this is a medical thriller. I don't always pick up these medical thrillers, but this just looked too good to pass up. And it's in decent shape. It's got spine creases and there's a tilted spine, but it's fine. It looks fine. The Poker Club by Ed Gorman. I've been picking up quite a few of his books lately. This is one of those later leisure books. It's in really nice shape. So those are the ones I bought at the bookstore. We also went to a couple of antique stores. So that big antique store with all the creepy dolls that I was showing you, I bought a Bobbsey Twins book. This one's called The Greek Hat Mystery. This is a first printing of that one. They had a whole bunch of Bobbsey Twins, but this was the only first print I could find. These books are just so cute. That's the only one I found at that antique store. But there was another antique store, and we were looking around, and I'm like, yeah, they don't have anything I want. Until I saw these. So these are a couple of the great mystery books, Opposing Viewpoints. So we have a book about poltergeists and a book about UFOs. So yeah, those are all the books that I got. These are pretty good. I was able to sort through the rubble and find a couple of good treasures. So I'm just happy I found a nice stack of books while I'm here. It makes me happy.
Pizza! Pizza, 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 pizza. Pizza!
Pizza!
Captain Ron's Pirate Pizza. Looks really good. Cheesy bread. Oh my god, the cheesy bread looks amazing. It's even sticking to the top. That's some cheese. Hey guys. So my sister and her husband are in the hot tub. And I'm waiting until nighttime because it's pretty hot outside still, and I feel like I would die of heat stroke if I got in at this moment. So tonight I will get in the hot tub, but for now, I'm going to do a little bit of reading. So we've got Cheerleaders, the First Evil here. I'm not very far. I didn't read very much in the car because I get car sick really, really bad, especially getting up into the hilly regions. Who is this? There's just a man walking. Where did he come from? I swear, there are a whole lot of hey, this is a good shot. Look at that. There are a lot of kind of rednecks in the area. Hillbillies. I'm hoping I'm not cannibalized or something when I'm here. It's Friday the 13th. Anything can happen. So, yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of reading. Didn't do much in the car. We'll see how much I can read. And then I think after they're done in the hot tub, we'll probably watch Friday the 13th. And then I will get in the hot tub at night. So that way I am way more convenient prey if someone does decide to raid our cabin and murder us.
Jason Voorhees, I'm looking at you, buddy. All right, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna read now before you guys think I'm a total nutcase. To have that.
Huh?
I used to have that.
You did?
Yeah. I think I got it in a McDonald's Happy Meal or something.
Cheese in my dreams.
You're eating cottage cheese in your dream?
I don't even remember the last time I had cottage cheese.
Hey guys, so we're on to day 2 of our trip. It's Saturday, and we have already gone out and went to an antique store. We had lunch at the Old Dutch, which you probably just saw. Really good. Ate a ton of food. It was a lot. Then we were going to go hiking and a thunderstorm rolled in. So we came on back here, and now it looks pretty sunny out actually. But we're just going to enjoy the rest of the day here at the Airbnb. We're going to watch Friday the 13th part 2. And I thought I would go ahead and show you before I do anything else what I got at this antique store today, because I did find a couple of things. So I got Hardy Boys, the Arctic Patrol Mystery. From what I gather, this is a first printing because it lists to itself on the back, and it seems to meet all the points for a first print, which is pretty great. I also found this crazy book right here. This is The Witch of Spring. This was published in 1950 originally. This pocketbook edition was published in 1951. It's a first printing of the paperback edition. She was a slave to voodoo magic. So I had to pick that up. It was like $4. I also got this really cool Mothman figure. I couldn't really pass him up because he's just too cool. So he's going to go in my library. And then also I bought one of these cookie whoopie pies, which I've already started eating. That'll be gone by the end of the night. So yeah, we're just going to hang out and do some fun stuff.
No.
I just realized there's this creepy old barn shack thing right next to our Airbnb. That's ours right there. It's pretty spooky.
You're gonna give me a heart attack.
One last game before we leave.
Yeah, what's it like?
All right, we're going to get a picture. Time to go hiking, bitches. We made it to the top. Hey creeps, I'm back from the trip and I am ready to take a nap, but I thought before I did anything like that, I would show you what I got at that last antique mall. Did not know I would be hitting up another antique mall today. I did not realize that there was another one, but it was a big one. It was an antique mall and a flea market and an outdoor flea market, all kinds of different stuff, all in one lot, which was pretty cool. And I found a stack of really, really cool books. I found a couple of the books in the Power Boys mystery series. So these are kind of a knockoff of the Hardy Boys, which I really love the Hardy Boys. I've never read any of these Power Boys books. This is one I got for $2, and this is Penny Allen and the Mystery of the Hidden Treasure, which is another kind of Nancy Drew inspired detective mystery published by Falcon Books. It's in really, really nice condition, except that there's this big tear on the cover. When they took the sticker off, at the register, they tore the book, and I didn't realize that till I got to the car. So that was kind of a bummer, but still, it was cheap. It was only like $2. For $15, and this was definitely worth the $15, I have a first edition, first printing of the Bobbsey Twins, Wonderful Secret. This is book number 24 in the series. Still has the dust jacket, even though it's torn up here at the top. It's a miracle that this book even has the dust jacket in the first place. So it still has the paper dolls in the back, which is extremely rare. It lists to itself on the front flap here, which means it's a first printing. And also there's an inscription saying Merry Christmas from 1931, and the book was published in 1931. So it's definitely a first printing, which is insane. I hardly ever find first printings of Bobbsey Twins books. See, look, it even has the catalog in the back of the dust jacket here. Just a really gorgeous book. And I also found one of the books in the Ruth Fielding series. This one is Ruth Fielding at Golden Pass by Alice B. Emerson. This is a series of 30 books, kind of mystery adventure stories. These actually came way before Nancy Drew.
Cheerleader camp.
Start with Allison, she's so fine. Don't look at her long or you'll go blind. Next is Pam, she comes out with a bam and will tell you this, she ain't no sham. Next is Bonnie, she acts kinda funny. She'll steal your heart but not your money. Can't forget Teresa, she's got what it takes. Putting her on this team was no mistake. Last is Corey, and this is her story. She's our gator, you'll be seeing her later.
Betsy Russell, Leif Garrett, Lucinda Dickey, Laurie Griffin.
We gotta walk out of here.
It's at least 40 miles.
Finally, something to die for.
Cheerleader camp.
Fight, 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 or die, die, die. Hello, creeps. My name is Cameron Chaney, author of Autumn Crow and host here on Library Macabre. Today, I've got for you another Fear Street reading vlog. A couple of years ago, the Fear Street movies came out on Netflix. It was a trilogy. They were all released about a week apart. It was a big event, especially for Fear Street fans like myself. I loved Fear Street as a kid and as a teenager, so the movies were very exciting, and I decided to vlog the experience of watching the movies. At the same time, I was also going back and reading the books in order from the time they were released to the end of the series. Now, I've not made it to the end of the series yet because there's like 150 books or something. But right now, I am on to one of my favorites, which is the Fear Street Cheerleaders Trilogy.
How funky is your chicken? How loose is your goose? Our goose is totally loose.
There are more Cheerleaders books. R.L. Stine did a couple of spin-offs and a couple more sequels. I'm just looking at the first three, the original trilogy in this video. These were some of my favorite Fear Street books growing up. Not my absolute favorite, but very, very, very close. These follow a couple of sisters who come to Shadyside High and they become cheerleaders, and then there's the curse, the Sarah Fear curse. So these were actually a very big inspiration for the movies. The movies are loosely based off of the books, but they did take certain plot points from a lot of the books, and the whole Sarah Fear angle was definitely taken from the Cheerleaders books. Now, I have read the first book 2 times, and I've read each of these once. You know, I reread this book pretty recently. I have not read the second and third book really since I was in my tweens, early teens. So it's been a long time since I've read these. Not as long since I read this one. In fact, last year I posted like a travel vlog of me going to stay in a cabin in the woods on Friday the 13th. If you've not seen that video, I'll link it up here. I started reading this book while I was there, and it was supposed to be kind of a Fear Street reading vlog, and it didn't happen. I ended up only getting about this far into the book because I was so busy book shopping. So we are going to pick up where I left off, which is page 29, and we're going to continue reading The Cheerleaders. Now, the reason why I'm doing it right now is because I am actually dog sitting at my parents' house, which is why I'm in a completely different setting. I'm in a different house than I'm usually at. I am going to be staying here tonight, Thursday night, Friday night, so after work, coming back here, and then I'm going to be here Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I have Monday and Tuesday off because on Tuesday it's actually 4th of July, which when you're seeing this, it's definitely not 4th of July.
Oh, hi, Gypsy. Hi, baby.
Come here. This is Gypsy. You can't really see her. She's really, really pretty.
And she's a sweet baby. Yeah, you're a sweet baby. Hi. Hi.
She's like,
Is it treat time? You want treats? You want to get some treats? Let's get some treats.
Allie. She's not coming. I'll have to go see what she's up to.
You want a treat, Gypsy?
Let's do one of these. There you go. Bandit. Oh, there's Allie.
Hi, Allie. Hi, baby. Do you want another treat?
Good girl. Also, while I am on my little, I guess, dog sitting retreat, I'm gonna treat it as if it's a retreat. Other than reading Fear Street books, I'm gonna be watching horror films in this video. And I'm also filming a separate vlog all about the finishing of my novel because I need to finish Autumn Crow High, Fresh Hell, the first book in the Autumn Crow High series this weekend. I need to finish writing it so that way it can go to editing. So by the time you're seeing this video, Autumn Crow High, Fresh Hell is out. And I think it's appropriate considering Autumn Crow High is actually a throwback to Fear Street books. So without further ado, I'm going to get into reading some Fear Street books. I also have the new Fear Street Cheerleaders bind up. This just recently came out. It's called True Evil. It contains all 3 of these books in a brand new edition. I brought this along because I wasn't sure if I would want to break into this and read this copy versus reading my nice first edition Fear Street books. But I do know that these editions have been revised a little bit. It might be interesting to kind of compare and contrast and jump back and forth. But for now, I think I'm just going to dig into the original copy here and start reading Cheerleaders, the First Evil. The impact was fast and hard. What had they hit? A tree? A rock? The curb? The bus seemed to bounce, to fly up off the road, to bounce again. Jennifer's startled scream was drowned out by the squeal of the skidding tires, by the crunch of metal. Tigers growl, tigers roar, do it again, more, more, more. All right, so I just read the first part of Fear Street Cheerleaders, the First Evil. So I'm about 50 pages in, and now we're gonna be going on to part 2, The Fall. I'm not going to be spoiling very much about these books, so don't worry. The story starts off with Corky and Bobby, and they are new in town, and they really want to join the cheerleading squad. These girls are already really good cheerleaders. They were in the big leagues at their old high school. So even though the cheerleaders at Shadyside High are not happy about letting these girls into their squad, they know that if they want to make it big, they're going to have to let them in.
Well, then you better bring it. Oh, it's already been brought in.
So they do, and they are on the bus right now going to their first game. But one of the sisters says that they forgot the batons for the act at their house, and they live on Fear Street. So they turn the school bus around. They're gonna go to the house and pick up these batons, but there's a terrible storm that blows in and the bus ends up getting into an accident right at the Fear Street Cemetery. So they crash into the Fear Street Cemetery. The head of the cheerleading squad, Jennifer, gets sucked up through the window of the bus, almost as if she's been pulled through the window, and she lands on Sarah Fear's grave. And the paramedics show up and they take her pulse and she is dead. And then her eyes open up and she's okay, and she is brought off to the hospital. I love this book so much, and it feels really good to get back into Fear Street again because it's been about a year since I've read any Fear Street books. It's like coming home. It always is. I can always pick up a Fear Street book and immediately just fall right into it. R.L. Stine's writing style is just simple and easy and breezy. It's very, very easy to get into these books. So did some reading. Now I think I'm going to get the dogs some food. I'm gonna make some dinner for myself, and I may do a little bit of writing, or I may watch a movie. My dad has this really, really nice big TV. It's quite a bit bigger than mine at home, so I want to take advantage of it and watch some movies. I recently got my Vinegar Syndrome halfway to Black Friday order in the mail, so this is one of those movies. It's called Evil Laugh. It's an 80s slasher film, and I'd really like to dig into this. Let's show you a little bit of the house. I actually used to live here, like back in my early 20s, and one of my favorite things to do when I lived here was to sit out here on the patio and read and write. In fact, I wrote a whole bunch of Autumn Crow out here, my very first book. I would always sit out here and write my stories for the book. As you can see, there's a lot of smog right now because of the fires in Canada. So hopefully the air quality will get a little bit better and I will be able to sit out here and do some reading and some writing. Anyway, time for some dinner, and then I think I'm gonna go ahead and watch Evil Laugh. What is for dinner? Ice cream? I really don't know what I want. Actually, I think there's a pizza downstairs in the deep freezer. Oh, deep freezer. This is where the bodies are kept. Yep. I'm thinking, ooh, Boston Market. You guys remember Boston Market? They had the best mac and cheese ever. This is the basement. It's a game room now, but I actually used to live down here. You guys probably remember seeing pictures of my apartment down here, or my little Halloween decoration tour that I did. Mostly you probably remember this room. This was my library back when I lived here. Now it's a workout room, but there's the Dumbledore quote that I had above my chair, which used to sit right here. It's pretty weird to see it now and to think that it's a workout room when it used to be a library.
Try it again. Wait a minute. Wait. Okay. What'd you do? I just banged it like this. Like that? Yeah. It always worked for Fonzie on happy days.
I'm really liking this so far. The long corridor stretched out before her like a tunnel. Gray lockers lined both walls. The classrooms were dark and empty. The loud crash behind her made her jump and cry out. She spun around in time to see a locker door swing open, then slam shut. Bang! Bang! The sound echoed until it became a terrifying roar. Click the like button or you can kiss this squad goodbye. Happy Friday! I finished work for the day, which means that I'm officially on my 4th of July break. I have lots of reading and writing and movie watching ahead of me. I read quite a bit more from Fear Street Cheerleaders #1, The First Evil, and I'm almost done with the first book. I'm literally just like 30 pages away from the end, which means I have gotten past the big twist. So the first book has a giant twist that I'm not going to spoil for those who haven't read the book, but for those who have read the book, if you know, you know. It's quite the risky move, I will say, especially for a Fear Street book, but it's always been one of my favorite parts about this book. Is the fact that R.L. Stine kind of goes for it, but I think he does stick the landing, unlike some of the cheerleaders in this book, because the cheerleaders are always falling on their heads. For instance, we have a moment frozen in time right now. The cheerleaders are throwing her up in the air and she seems to be levitating. Everybody knows that as soon as this snapshot is done, this girl is falling on her head. That's always what happens during all of these cheerleading practices, is that at least one girl ends up falling and landing on her head with a sickening crack. And then everybody goes to make sure she's okay. And she's like, oh, I sprained my wrist. So far it's happened once, but I remember from reading these books that it happens more than once. Another thing that I find very amusing about the Cheerleaders books, and all of the Fear Street books really, is that there's always characters ending in I. Like the characters' names end in I. So you've got Corky, Bobby, Kimmy, Ronnie, Deborah, which could have easily been fixed by calling her Debbie. I'm not making fun of this. I love this. In fact, I really want to incorporate this into the cheerleading squad in Autumn Crow High. And it would be kind of a running joke that, don't they all have the same name? I am loving my reread of the Cheerleaders so far, and I can't wait to read more. I feel like I'm gonna finish the first book tonight, but for now, I actually need to get writing done.
boy, it's raining hard. It is Saturday morning, 11 a.m. I am on my way to the coffee shop. Now, I did finish the first Evil last night, so I wanted to talk a little bit about my thoughts here. Of course, this is my third time reading the book, so it's all pretty much tattooed in my memory now. The ending of the book is very, very cheesy and silly, and that's kind of what I love about it. I don't want to spoil the end of the book, but there's a big showdown between one of our main characters and the ancient evil that has possessed somebody from their group. The Fear Street books can sometimes feel like a soap opera in a way. They're very heightened and dramatic.
Ow! You guys!
So that book is done, and I went ahead and started the second Evil yesterday, and it feels great to get into the second Evil. The first book kind of just followed Bobby and Corky. This one does follow the other cheerleaders as they're hanging out. At the beginning of the book, they're driving around together. You know, they're talking about who's dating who, which those are some of my favorite things about reading Fear Street. It's just the teenage talk. I love scenes like that. Second Evil is really good. I can't wait to read more of it today. But for now, I am going to get me some coffee and do some writing. So I will catch you guys very soon. Hey, creeps. So I'm back home. I just got back from my writing session at the cafe and got about 2 pages written, which is pretty good for me. I'm still going to write more today, but I decided to come on home. And I think what I'm going to do is watch a movie for a little bit, and then I'm going to do some more writing and also some more reading, of course. I have lots of movies that I brought with me to watch, so I'm going to decide on a movie next. Here is my box of movies. I already watched The Mole People, so I can put that aside. I brought season 1 of The X-Files because I've been rewatching it from the beginning. I've been rewatching the Tales from the Dark Side TV show, but I've never seen the movie, so I brought that with me to maybe watch at some point. Some classics. I got my new Mexico Macabre box set, which is pretty cool. I already watched Curse of the Crying Woman, which I thought was excellent. Just like a perfect gothic horror film in tradition of like Universal monsters. Buried Alive, Blood Delirium, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, I've been rewatching that too. Shriek of the Mutilated. There's a lot of different movies to choose from. I really don't know what I'm going to choose. I'm going to decide on something and then I'll be back. So I ended up choosing a movie, but it wasn't any of the movies from the box. I actually ended up watching my buddy Michael Bailiff's new movie, which is called He Never Left, which is kind of a slasher. He did the cinematography, he edited the film, produced it. Michael Bailiff is behind Witching Season Films, which does some really cool work. If you've not seen their movies, you've probably seen their Halloween ambiance on YouTube. Those are pretty popular as well. And if you haven't, I recommend you look it up because it's really good. Anyway, his new movie is not out yet. I saw kind of a screener copy, so I don't really know how much I can say about it just yet, but I will be saying more about it when I come back because I really, really liked it. I thought it was great. And now I'm doing a little bit of writing, and I will probably do some reading here shortly. I want to read a little bit more from the second Evil and see what those cheerleaders are up to.
Today we're gonna cheer loud, jump high, and look pretty because cheerleaders kick!
Hey everybody, it's Sunday morning. I just had breakfast and I wanted to update you on my reading progress because I did a little bit more reading yesterday. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the crossovers I've been seeing. So I saw that Sookie makes an appearance, which is really cool. Sookie is one of my favorite little side characters of the Fear Street books. Also, we had an appearance from the main character in a book called The Sleepwalker. That's one of my favorite things about the Fear Street books are the fact that these characters tend to cross over. So I'm going to be doing a whole lot more reading today, but for now I'm going to go down to the coffee shop, get some more coffee because this coffee is a little bit unsatisfying, and then I'll come home and get started on some reading.
After school on Monday, Corky hesitated at the double doors to the gym. On the other side, she could hear shouts and the thunder of sneakers pounding. Oh, hello. I didn't see you there, and I certainly didn't hear you over the booms of fireworks that are going on outside. It is July 3rd, right before Independence Day, so people are firing off fireworks everywhere, and the dogs are losing their shit. They're staying very, very close to me. They don't like the booms. You don't like the booms, do you? They've actually not been letting me sleep over the past couple of nights. I've not gotten a full night's rest. And I'm not too used to the mattress either, so my back is killing me. Absolutely killing me. Either that's just part of turning 30 or the mattress is a little too firm. Maybe a little bit of both. I have spent the entire day writing, and I do mean the entire day. From the time I got up this morning all the way up until now. It's literally 10 o'clock and I just got done writing. And I'm still not done with this book. It's very close to being done though. I was writing the final chapter and then I decided, oh, I need to split this into 2 separate chapters. So I technically still have 1 more chapter left, which is already summarized. Hopefully it goes quick. And then I have the epilogue. Tomorrow it's gonna get done. I swear on my life, it's gonna get done. And with the way it's going, I'll probably not get any sleep tonight. And I will just be up all night writing. So I may wake up tomorrow completely delirious, but at least the book will be done. For now, though, I am going to dig into some more Fear Street. Right now, we are following Corcoran, who goes to the Fear Street Cemetery very often for reasons. And I'm not going to get into that. You'll have to read the book to find out why. She is still a bit traumatized over everything that happened in the first book. She is especially watchful at the cemetery for the spirit of Sarah Fear. She's really worried that the evil is back. So Corky decides, all right, I'm going to go back to the cemetery tonight. I'm going to bring my boyfriend with me. We're going to keep an eye on things. And if we don't see anything, we'll just assume that it's all over and I can go on with my life. But then they meet somebody in the cemetery. She's there doing grave rubbings in the middle of the night. And the grave that she's working on is Sarah Fear's grave. So,
Hi, how you doing?
Okay, I'm going to dig into this book and I will check back really soon and let you know my thoughts. We've got Razzmatazz, Pep, Punch, and Pizzazz. Hey you, you've been had. Shady Side Tiger's got Razzmatazz. Razzmatazz! Good morning. The dogs actually let me sleep last night, which was wonderful. I'm still very tired though. I feel like I have many hours of sleep to catch up on, but it is now 9:30, so it's time to get up. It is 4th of July. I'm wearing my 4th of July shirt. Got some red, got some whitish tones, got some blue. It's about all I've got. Today is the last day. I need to get this entire book done. It has to happen. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So I really don't know how much reading I'm going to get done today. It really depends on how quick I can finish the book. It's probably going to take me all day and all night like it did yesterday. Hey creeps, I'm back with another update. Not much of an update. It is Tuesday evening and I have not done much reading in the Second Evil. I've spent the last couple of days just writing. That's all I've been doing, but the book's done. It's done, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy to say that. But I have read enough that I can say we did have a very bloody death scene, which was awesome because you know, in the early part of the Fear Street series, death scenes are not as bloody. But when you get to the later part of the series, that's where things get a lot bloodier and a lot more violent. Before all of that, though, the deaths were not very bloody. But every once in a while, you would get a very bloody death. I remember reading this as a kid and being like, oh, hello, that was kind of violent. Another thing I remember thinking when I was a kid was how cheesy all of the cheers are in these books because, you know, my sisters, they were all cheerleaders. I grew up going to their games. I grew up watching Sugar and Spice and Bring It On. So it's a little humorous seeing that R.L. Stine is trying his best to write these cheers. And some of the cheers are actually real cheers, like the Razzmatazz thing, but most of them are just made up for the Fear Street books, I believe. Fear Street is in its own little bubble, man. It's just in this little weird ass snow globe where they're cut off from everything else in the world. All that exists is just Shadyside in this snow globe, and that's that. Anyway, now that Autumn Crow High Fresh Hell is finished and it's off to my editor, I'm gonna have a lot more time to read. So that's my main goal, is to finish reading The Cheerleaders now that I'm home and now that the book is done. A large picture window overlooked the campus. 2 small desks were pushed back to back in the middle of the room. A third desk stood against one wall between 2 low dressers. Over one of the dressers, someone had tacked up a poster of Harry Styles? See, this is what I'm talking about with the changes. So far, I've not detected really any changes to the book. It's not been modernized. Nobody has cell phones. I've not really seen any like modernization of slang, or, you know, I still have seen the word landline, I'm pretty sure. This reference to Harry Styles, why? This book was written in 1992. This was published in 1992. Let's see what they reference in this book. Over one of the dressers, someone had tacked up a poster of U2, which I feel like U2 is still on the radio. They still do make music. Nostalgia is in. Kids watch Stranger Things. The 90s are starting to come back and become nostalgic. So I feel like replacing it with Harry Styles is just lazy as can be. And I feel like, you know, if this were just treated as a time capsule to say U2, that's fine. But if you update that with Harry Styles, I feel like this will at some point seem outdated. Just like, you know, if it were to be replaced with the Jonas Brothers in the late 2000s, they're not called the Jonas Brothers anymore. It reminds me very much of when they reprinted them in these editions in like the mid 2000s, and they updated a lot of the references. Like, for instance, instead of saying VHS, they say DVD. And instead of saying, oh, they watched Die Hard, instead they say, oh, well, they watched The Lord of the Rings, which I don't think that really stands the test of time now. Yes, Lord of the Rings is a very popular movie still. It's a classic, but I don't think that's what most teenagers are going to be putting in nowadays. Therefore, this is still outdated. You may as well just keep it at U2. Why change it? Why? You didn't change these landlines to cell phones. Oh my God, the movies, they all took place in the 90s, the 70s. They banked off of the nostalgia. You've got tons of books nowadays that take place in the 90s or in the 80s. So why take something that is actually from the 90s and update it when everybody else is trying to replicate 90s things? It's like, oh, we're going to update everything that's old and we're going to make everything that's new seem old. Why? Anyway, I'm still very much enjoying my reread of The Cheerleaders. We already had another cheerleader fall on her head. So that's 2 falling teenagers. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I am now on to the 3rd evil. I finished reading the 2nd evil, and it's great. I think the 2nd evil might actually be my favorite of the trilogy. It's got lots of cemetery stuff. There's also a really wonderful scene. It takes place at night where the cheerleaders get together and they go to the burned down Fear Mansion. So the mansion is referenced many, many times throughout the books, and like the Saga, for instance, really relies heavily on the history of the Fears, and it ends with the burning of the house. It's a big staple of Fear Street, but this is the first time any of the kids from Shadyside go to the Fear Mansion and go inside of it, and they try to do a little bit of a seance, and it's really good. It's really, really good. I was just reading it and I'm like, oh my God, I don't remember this, but I love it. You've got the atmosphere, you've got the ruins of this house. One of the cheerleaders, which is Deborah, who's really into the occult, it's all her idea. She's really excited to be there. And then you've got Corky, who is like, well, I want to get to the bottom of the evil presence that's haunting me. And then you've got Kimmy, who's just complaining the whole time that it smells bad and that there's probably rodents, and she's just not happy to be there. And I love the banter in the house while they're walking through these ruins. It's great. I really enjoy that part. I also like how dramatic the ending is for the 2nd evil. It's really funny to me. I think a lot of people who read it and don't really get it are just gonna think it's cheesy and dumb, which it is.
but that's part of what I think is so joyous about Fear Street. Like I said, it's a little snow globe of weirdness, Shadyside is. So anything can happen. Right now, in the third evil, which has a wonderful cover of this girl doing the splits on a grave. I'm guessing that's Sarah Fear's grave. Yeah, it says Fear. You've got the cheerleaders going to cheerleader camp. Corky has just had a terrible dream about one of the characters who dies, another part of the series. I won't spoil anything. She has a dream that this person comes to her and they grab their hair and pull the top of their head off, and inside their head are a bunch of cockroaches, and it's so gross. So I'm about 30 pages into this one right now, and I'm loving it. So I'm gonna be reading a lot more of this tonight and tomorrow while I'm at work.
Nobody saw it coming, especially not Jack.
Oh, I did it! I finished reading Cheerleaders, the Third Evil. Let's get cozy and talk about it. But before we do, this video took a whole lot of time and effort. I'm talking weeks and weeks, reading, vlogging. The editing took days to do, days. I am not even kidding. So if you've made it this far, I hope you're enjoying the video. If you are, please don't forget to give me a like down below. I would really, really appreciate it. It takes just a second. It's like tipping, but it doesn't cost you any money. It's a free way to support the channel. Also, if you comment down below, even if you just leave me a skull or a pumpkin emoji, or just say, "Hey creep," that works too, and it does help to appease the YouTube gods. Enough of all of that, let's talk about The Third Evil. This book has all kinds of craziness and drama. Oh my god. So much more than I even remember, because I read this when I was very, very young, and I guess I didn't pick up on all of the teenage drama and angst. When the girls are at the cheerleading camp, they have a roommate that they don't like, and it seems like the evil spirit also doesn't like this roommate. She wakes up one day and she's like, "Oh, my hair! Who cut my hair?" She's always falling off of the pyramid and landing on her head. She burned herself on some scalding water and blamed it on the girls, and I could see why everybody hates her so much. And then the girls go back home, and Corky starts to experience even more stuff involving the evil spirit, that maybe the evil spirit didn't actually die at the end of the book. And then we start to find out more and more about Sarah Fear, and that maybe she was actually possessed by this evil spirit, and how this evil has been locked up with Sarah Fear in her grave. If you want to find out all of that, you really just got to read the book. It's great. And I also actually found it a little bit emotional at the end, just a little bit. Corky actually lost somebody very close to her earlier on in the series, and there's a little reference to that at the end of the book. So, okay, yeah. R.L. Stine, he writes trash, but he actually does get me in the feels every once in a while. So there you have the Fear Street Cheerleaders Trilogy, one of the very best. It's a classic. It's wonderful. If you've not read any of the Fear Street books, I do recommend jumping straight to this and reading it, because it is a whole lot of fun. It's cheesy as hell, but it's also got a lot of atmospheric, moody kind of passages, lots of creepy cemetery scenes, and the scene in the burned out mansion, foggy streets at night. Oh, I love it. It's got everything I love. Fear Street, thank you for raising me. Thank you for being such an influential part of my life, and thank you for inspiring me to write Autumn Crow High, which is out right now, so go get yourself a copy. Link is down below. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and don't forget to stick around to the very end, because, oh yes, there are some bloopers. I had to rehearse those cheers, by the way. I didn't just know them off the top of my head. So, yeah, it led to some bloopers. I hope you enjoy them. And until next time, later, creeps. We've got razzmatazz, pep, punch, and pizzazz. Hey, you've been had. Shake, say, we've got razzmatazz, pep, punch, and pizzazz. Hey, you've been has that. We've got razzmatazz, pep, punch, and pizzazz. Hey, you've been had. Shady Side Tiger's got razzmatazz. We've got razzmatazz, pep, punch, and pizzazz. Hey, you've been had. Shady Side Tiger's got razzmatazz. We've got razzmatazz, pep, punch, and pizzazz. Hey, you've been had. Shady Side Tiger's got razzmatazz.
Cheerleaders kick!